of course, to get you through Gamecocks and Texas A&M. We'll close the book on the Vanderbilt game today. We'll move ahead at about 1:15 when Shane Beamer will meet with the media today to discuss all things South Carolina football, whether it is the quarterback situation. Maybe we'll get a little insight on Juju McDowell, if he will be available this weekend. Any other thoughts and feelings on injuries? But until then, you're more than welcome if you didn't want to weigh in yesterday to join us this morning. 803-404-6100, how you can add your opinion to the program this morning, whether it's the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. We are up. We're ready to take your phone calls, your angry opinions, your positive opinions, your opinions that we are doing very good. We'll take calls. Just whatever you want to weigh in with. We are here to be a punching bag or a way to get your feelings out. So welcome into the program. Hope you're up and Adam on a somewhat better one. Not quite as chilly this morning. You would agree? Yes, temperature.
Not quite as chilly.
My thermostat in the car was in the low 50s. Yesterday was in the 40s. I had like 52 this morning.
Yesterday. Terrible both mornings.
I think you become a true Southerner.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I've acclimated to the warmth.
You're cranky to begin with, but you
freezing.
I feel like you have become you can join us on the live stream this morning. We believe we'll find out here in about 35 minutes that we have gotten the live stream fixed where you can now hear the callers. You'll be able to hear the guests, and we will have a couple guests this morning. 6:40 this morning, Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports will join us as developments in the SEC are quite interesting right now. Two teams that played each other this past weekend, LSU and Florida. LSU is looking for a new head coach. Florida, it feels like, may decide they want to look for a new head coach. A lot of weird things going on down in Gainesville where they're basically deciding, hey, Dan Mullen, you're not bad at this coaching thing. You're just not what we want, and you're not what we need to get us where we're going. He'll talk about that. Yesterday, Tennessee has handed down a pretty stiff financial penalty for throwing trash and debris on the field. And I'll ask both of you here in just a second, what was the proper penalty? Because I feel like Jay Phillips just railed against.
He was so upset about it.
Yeah, Jay Phillips was wildly upset about.
Were you listening? What did you hear?
I saw Twitter. I think I actually caught a few minutes of it. Now that you said I got in the car at one point and got in the car.
He made me reevaluate if I should have cared more than I did.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that here in a few minutes. And just I read an article, Pat 40 last night, his 40-yard dash, and
the radio guy from Knoxville.
That's banning him. Pat 40. Thankfully, we don't have that around here at this station. Jay Phillips or
just try and ban somebody that they like to have on a lot, or that he'd like to have on a lot, just see what happens.
That's a good point. That's a good. We'll debate that. Who should we ban from? I think we should ban somebody from Jay's show. He needs to just ignore us as the couple of chipmunks or squirrels that are annoying him and just go about his business. I don't know. I was thinking about going with one of their guys like Wes Mitchell or Colin Taylor, like one of those two. We'll just say that they got bad takes. But no, we'll get into that Tennessee situation a little bit, just because I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you on that. Like, how much did it matter? And what was the proper way to take it? How much did people care? So you can weigh in on that. 803-404-6100. Again, you can join us on the live stream this morning as we try to get everything situated with the live stream. It'll be kind of interesting. Again, we think we've got it fixed. DC, Anthony, Troy, Robin, LeVar, Lauren, all weighing in this morning. And again, coming up at 6:40, Brad Crawford will join us to talk about that kind of stuff, what's going on in the SEC, as well as coming up at 7:30, our typical guest Perry Orth joining us to discuss kind of what's going on this morning as well regarding South Carolina football. Be a new quarterback or a old quarterback that's a new quarterback that's back for the second time, back for whatever you want to say, in Zeb Nolan. Let's go back to the SEC for a second, because coming up at 6:40 this morning, Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports. And
we'll talk about that Florida situation. Dan Mullen is, I guess, on more of a hot seat. LSU is looking for a head coach. That's kind of an interesting situation. But should have we cared what Pat Forty? I didn't really take too much into account until Pat Forty came out and said Tennessee should be forced to play its next home game against Georgia on November the 13th without fans. That was his hot take, is that no fans should be allowed at the Georgia Tennessee game. That seemed like a strong take, but how severe was this decision? What exactly was it? Patrick, we'll start with you. Like, yeah, it looked ugly. It was a very ugly scene in Knoxville on Saturday night. There's no doubt about that. But the question would be, what is the proper punishment? You find somebody financially. I kind of agree. I don't know what that exactly does. They said they're going to look at more proper protocol and things that they need to do. One of the things I saw thrown out there was maybe a ban of serving alcohol for a game. That would work. Patrick, your take on this? Like, what do you do to the Tennessee fan base here to put them in their place?
I don't know, because it wasn't the whole fan base, and we've seen South Carolina student section do the same thing. We just didn't see mustard bottles. But against Clemson, remember Dabo was all upset that they were throwing all the water bottles, and Drew Lock, they threw water bottles at Drew Lock, and he drank one of them. It's like, it's nothing new. I don't think it's a good look, but it wasn't.
I don't know that it's an SEC thing either. Like, you take care of your own.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Tennessee, maybe something I don't know, maybe the SEC has to, but I'm thinking, please yourselves, like you said, okay, no alcohol sales. That punishes the university a little bit, but it punishes fans. But I don't think the university necessarily should have to pay for something that's out of their control.
I think they make probably a lot of that back in one game too, just with the alcohol sales. The $250,000 fine, or 250. Yeah, I don't know how much they make, but I thought I saw something that Texas A&M was making like $1 million
in one game. I don't know if it's in one game.
Not just for alcohol, but like for all concessions. Is that too big of a number? I have absolutely no idea how to formulate those numbers in my head.
I think you've got to punish both. You've got to punish in some way, shape, or form both the university who's in charge of the fans and then the fans to an extent. I don't know if what the SEC did. I'm not 100% sure that really does anything. A financial fine, they'll make that back with the $40 million in revenue that they'll get at the end of the year from the television deal. So I don't really know where that does. And the only reason this kind of came up is because I did see, the only reason we're starting off the show talking about it is because it did seem to draw a lot of attention yesterday.
Why are we acting like that was something new?
About the fan behavior?
Yeah.
Well, we've never seen it stopped for here. I've never seen a football game stop for 20 minutes. It's one thing where you're right. Like, I've seen South Carolina fans, I've seen Clemson fans.
Ever been to Philadelphia?
But I've never seen a game stop for 20 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you are right.
They attacked Santa Claus with batteries.
I don't know, and Pat Forty's article, the 40-yard dash yesterday on Sports Illustrated now centered around more about like how the SEC is just out of control. They're firing, because that's the other conversation I do want to have before we bring Brad Crawford on. Like, is LSU out of control? And then I'll get to that in a few minutes. But with this situation, $250,000 fine, and that's pretty much it. There was 54 seconds left. The game was stopped with 20 minutes. We saw the bottles filled with liquid. Who knows what kind of liquid was in there? Different kinds. Cans, a golf ball that I guess hit Lane Kiffin maybe in the thigh, the hand. I'm not sure. Maybe it just came up short of him.
I think, it just kind of landed more by his foot, because then he bent over and picked it up and then showed it to the ref like, hey, football.
Not as bad as what happened to Saban.
Football.
Yeah. Oh, what happened to Saban? Did
you see his bruise? He did his press conference yesterday and said, I mean, I got bruised from Texas A&M fans storming the field yesterday. He has a massive bruise on his arm.
Okay. So
that's not good.
Actually looked like he got socked.
It does it?
Did it? Oh, the bruise was brutal. Look on Twitter. Just type in Nick Saban bruise. You'll see it pop up.
I don't know what the outrage. I don't know if it's fake outrage what we're getting right now. I don't know if it's people genuinely like, wow, that's all you're going to do to the Tennessee fan base. Because until I read Pat Forty's article, and what got me thinking was his suggestion that the punishment for Tennessee should be to play their next home game without fans. And I thought about it for a second. At first, I was like, man, that's really extreme. That's over the top. Like that's over the top. You're going to punish. I don't know. Who knows how many fans were throwing stuff? Maybe 300, maybe 500, maybe 1,000. It wasn't 100,000 that was there. But is that an over the top punishment? Because it was an excessive scene. It was a bad scene. There's no question about that. The mustard bottle, by the way, did you see the SEC short yesterday?
That
The
was
SEC
funny.
shorts that came out. And in the end, he pulls out the Tennessee home protection kit, I believe. And it's got the mustard bottle and the three golf balls. Oh, that was very clever.
I don't think
good.
someone brought the mustard into the game, though.
You
I
think
think
they
they
stole
sitting
it
there
from
under their seat? Is
concessions?
that
I
what they
think they
doing?
stole it from a concession stand.
I didn't even think they were allowing those types of things
I
like,
don't
to
know.
be out. You know,
Actually,
everybody's getting
I don't. Have
packets.
you ever seen just a
I mean, normally they have the
mustard
thing
they've
that
got
you
the
pump.
huge thing of it. I don't think
Yeah.
they just had the
Someone had to have. I mean, I don't know.
Somebody was at a tailgate and said, "I'm gonna get a
Can't
dog when I
leave
get in
this
the stadium." And
outside.
I'm gonna, yeah.
803-404
I just-
Four bucks
I-
now.
6100.
I don't care.
Anonymous Raj weighs in and
Feel
says,
bad.
dude, they were throwing golf balls, not just water bottles. Tommy weighing in, talking about he's traveling to College Station for Saturday's game. Gene weighing in, take away the alcohol sales, which means more will get indulged in the parking lot. I mean, that's a good point. It's I don't know what you do. I don't know. Again, we're not going to spend the whole show on this. We'll move along here in the next segment to the LSU situation and whether that's right or wrong, because that's a fascinating conversation. 17 games removed from a national championship. But again, I'm not sure if this is fake outrage, if people really care. Again, Pat Forty's conversation about like ban all the fans for one game seemed excessive. And then I thought, well, maybe that teaches them a lesson. Maybe that's how you get your point across.
Maybe.
You do have to kind of punish both. I don't think you just
It's 2021. You can figure out who's throwing things pretty easily. ESPN was there. Like, did you watch the Mouse in the Palace 30 for 30 that
I
just
didn't
came out
watch
a couple
that.
weeks? I mean, they showed videos of the like security rooms with all the cameras and all the hours upon hours of footage they filtered through to figure out who was throwing what and how to track people down. Like, they could do that with the Tennessee fans. Just give a couple people like a really expensive fine. Give somebody a $1,500, like an average Joe, a $1,500 fine. Like, pretty sure that'll be effective.
RL weighs in on the live stream this morning. He says, I didn't see any batteries. I count that as a win. So
Yeah,
there's your
exactly.
Philadelphia. Yeah, it's you got that. A couple more on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Chris says the issue isn't the water bottles or cups or anything. The fact that Tennessee was premeditated. Who brings a whole bottle of mustard into a stadium? I do think somebody took the mustard in.
With the intention of throwing it at Lane Kiffin.
Well, it's either that or they really wanted mustard on their hot dog.
Or maybe they I don't know.
He
Or
says,
they just
Chris goes on, who brings golf balls in the stadium? You have to police yourself. I would think Texas A&M, then he goes on, I would think Texas A&M is definitely making over $1 million in concessions every week. There's 100,000 people, and it's only $10 a piece. Charles weighs in, I've been to hundreds of football games, but I've never felt the need to take golf balls and mustard. It's just Matthew from Landrum. It happens in the NFL as well with Chicago fans flipping Aaron Rodgers the double bird after he scored. Yeah, a little bit different there with the
And seriously, his response to that?
well, yeah, Matthew
Over the
Landrum's
top.
he's in for every morning. He's made
No,
sure to tell
Aaron-
you go pack go. So
you
he's-
saw what Aaron Rodgers said though, right?
what'd he say?
You didn't see a celebration?
Uh-uh.
Oh, you got to watch the video of it. He scored a nice little pump fake touchdown, did the discount double check, and then yelled, "Oh my effing life! I own you. I
That's
still
what I'm
own
talking
you.
about.
I
Okay,
still
maybe
own
that's
you."
why. Maybe that's why
Yeah.
Bears fans were a little salty.
Yeah, they were doing that, and that's what he said to them. He was like, "Yeah, I own you. I
Yeah, okay.
still
Well,
own you."
well,
Yeah,
Jen,
saying
you might
I've-
have
all my life I've owned you all
maybe
this
the
time.
double number ones were deserved at that
I
point.
mean-
That was
Yeah.
that might have been where it was.
I've tried to like him because I know that he's an extremely talented player, and I know that he's an extremely intelligent person. But then he does something like that, and I was like, just sack the crap out of him.
Well,
And just
Everyone outside of Chicago pretty much loved that.
Jen
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
Patrick are
Yeah.
gearing up. Yeah, Jen and Patrick
Because
are.
Aaron Rodgers is kind of has people think that he is this boring, like nerdy kind of guy. So whenever he gets fiery like that, people generally love it.
He does. He's a
Yeah.
different. He's got a career post football for some kind of
Oh, yeah.
entertainment. I don't know if it's hosting some kind of game show or whatever, but he'll have something. 803-404-6100. Again, we see you all on the live stream. Travis, Troy, RL weighing in this morning. Carlton saying good morning. We hope you're doing well. Again, we're confident. We're pretty confident. We had an engineer come in that you can join us on the live stream this morning and being able to hear Brad Crawford and Perry Orth here. Brad Crawford in about 20 minutes with 24/7 Sports. We will talk more about that Tennessee situation. We will talk more about what's going on with Tennessee and Florida and LSU. We'll talk about that LSU situation and our own personal opinions coming up here next. And if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. That's how you can do so this morning. Clinton, Matthew, Clemson, Allen weighing in with a snarky comment. Whomever threw the golf ball is more accurate than Doty or DJ. He's
Oh,
taking
yeah.
shots at both quarterbacks. He's just
How the Tigers doing?
both. That's what he's taking both shots. He's an equal opportunity shot taker.
That's
Welcome.
true. That's true.
So Danny B from Columbia, Clinton, Charles, Chris, Gene. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Tuesday morning episode of the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
Hold on. All right. So now I would think this is what I was arguing. So now I've got mine on. They should still be able to hear you.
But through yours, this is where it echoes. If you and I both have our laptop,
But it should be the same. That actually, oh no, he cut that off. All right, so now if you take us out of program 1, but leave us in program 3, we shouldn't. If our mics are on, we shouldn't go out over air, right?
right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So now,
I mean, I hear you right now without the mics being on. I've been hearing you through the
you
live.
can hear us right here.
Now I hear, yes, and that has a different sound. Yeah.
Oh, tough, Craig. All right, so you should be able to cut that off, and we should be good. We're learning. We did a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. I did, yeah. So let's see here. So you should be good. Everybody hearing us? Give me a thumbs up.
No,
Craig?
they are.
Okay. The only problem we got is Jen. You just got to tell us when we're coming back, because now I can't hear that.
Okay. And you can't hear me right now?
And technically, right now, y'all should not be hearing commercials through this. Y'all should not be hearing the commercials.
Well, she could put OPEX in program 3. And
Right. No, OPEX shouldn't be in program 3. We just want the phone line
right.
to be in
Yeah.
program 3.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No commercials. All right. And the phone line should be in program
Okay,
3.
they can.
You're good. You're good. Program, as long as
I was just saying it,
the phone line's in
you can see
program
me,
3
hear
when everything
me.
comes through, we should be good.
but you can't hear me if you don't have headphones in. There we go. So now you can hear me if you have headphones in.
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I assume you're talking. For all I know, I don't even see your lips. All I can see is your eye.
That's so weird. Why can't I talk to you guys through the live stream?
Well, neither of us have. Actually, Patrick's got his up, but I don't have my volume on the live stream, so I wouldn't be able to hear you.
Okay, well, we'll just do it this way all the time.
You hear the break. We only want you to hear. So I think we got it. I think we've got it fixed. We'll find out when Brad Crawford comes on. When Brad Crawford comes on, just start giving me thumbs up or thumbs down. If you hear him, thumbs up. So see, we'd work on it. Now the green screen, from what I understand, may be around for a while. So get used to that.
At least through Halloween.
Yeah, it's our. Maybe we'll see if we can get a red screen for Christmas.
Kind of what I'm thinking. Sounds good to me.
The black coffee. You've got your mustard bottle. Yeah, just throw the mustard bottle at the screen. That's how we'll know. Just send up a mustard.
I'll throw it for you, RL. And again, unless there's a certain button I push, they cannot hear me. So this could be fun.
I can leave this. I can leave one earphone in and still be able to hear what we're doing. So
Yeah.
all right, we got it. We got it. It's an improvement. Morning, John. Morning, Chad. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody weighed in, banned the student section. I guess maybe you just cordon off the student section. I don't think you can just keep students out of the game. Go into a lower chair.
Should help with sight lines too.
Sightlines? Yeah. I gotta send so many things to do. We'll try and make this a quick segment and be out by about 6:36ish, 7ish. I just text you Brad Crawford's number. Oh, professionally chaotic, just the way we like it. Unorganized, sloppy. Chad, that's not a bad idea. Although we don't want to give credit. I do like the idea of banning one of Jay's guests and then telling Jay he has to fight us.
If you fight Jay, my money is on Patrick.
Jay versus Patrick.
Yeah.
I think I would win the battle.
You think you could take? You think you could take Jay?
I think he could take Jay.
Or Royale?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just what? Pearson, Jay, you, and me.
If we just had all of the 107.5 people in a battle royale, I'd still feel.
Who wins a battle royale? Jen has an echo. Jen shouldn't have an echo. Oh, I know why. I bet Jen's microphone. You got. All right, we're back. We're back though. We'll figure it out. We're continuing. It's a work in progress. We've made steps already. We made strides. Oh, tonight's opening night of NBA.
Yeah, I just did a fantasy draft at 4 a.m. We can talk about it.
Rolling along on a Monday morning. Carlton, Chad, John weighing in on the live stream. You can go to our YouTube page, 107.5 The Game, and you can subscribe. You can watch there. You can go to the 107.5 The Game Facebook page if you feel the need to, and you can check us out there. We'll put that out on Twitter, I believe, as well. You can go to the 107.5 The Game Twitter page and do that as Patrick is manning the live stream over there. We got plenty going on this morning. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports will join us to talk about football in the SEC as it stands. One of the topics right now, Ed Orgeron and LSU. Patrick, like, it doesn't feel like you follow LSU. You got family down there. You follow them a lot closer. Look, it doesn't feel like the Ed Orgeron era was trending in the right direction. Now, they've somehow snuck up and beaten Florida twice in the last 2 years when things seemed at their lowest. But I was okay with this move. Like, I was okay. They're 9-8. since winning the national championship. A magical team, a magical run, maybe unprecedented talent. I don't know, because they kind of came out of nowhere. They weren't a team that we were necessarily talking about as a national championship team that year when the season started, and because they kind of came out of nowhere, maybe they don't get the credit for being one of the best teams of the last 20 years.
I mean, it really was the Joe Burrow factor. Because they had, I mean, yeah, they had 3 wide receivers that went pro, but Alabama's had 4. They had, I think, yeah, they had 4 first-round wide receivers on one team and 3 NFL quarterbacks, plus a ton of guys on defense, obviously. So LSU's was freakishly talented, but Joe Burrow was just so good. That was really the difference.
803-404-6100 is LSU overreacting. Don't put this in the context of South Carolina and what they're doing. That's not what I mean by this. Again, I read Pat Forty's 40-yard dash yesterday. He made it sound like the SEC is just crazy for firing coaches when they're not getting things done. Ed Orgeron, like, look, that program, you can take a big picture look at what that program was doing, Patrick, and you would agree it wasn't trending. It didn't look healthy. And there's also, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but you saw some issues there.
I think they're true.
Do you think they're true? If you
Yeah.
haven't seen, there was reports out of Baton Rouge yesterday that Ed Orgeron, who did go through a divorce in the last, 2 years? Is that fair?
Like right after the national championship.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, had been having girlfriends come to practice, and apparently some of the girlfriends had been having their kids come out and participate in the practice. Now, I don't know how old these kids were.
Well, he's got a lot of girlfriends. So
That also you think would
they're
have
a
caught the
variety
attention
of
of somebody,
ages.
yeah.
And he hit on the pregnant wife of one of the board of presidents at a gas station. He said, "Hey, you want to come work out with me? You look like you work out." And she said, "I'm pregnant and married." He said, "That doesn't matter." Allegedly.
803-404-6100, 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was Patrick's Ed Orgeron impression? Can you give us a little bit more of that?
"Hey, you look like you work out. You want to work out with me?"
I'd give it about an 8.
8?
And I'm a little creeped out, honestly. So
I still have kind of
Yeah.
comes with the morning voice.
I feel like he hit on me a little bit there in that
Right?
situation. I
I
feel a
think
little
I kinda
uneasy
need a
right now
shower
in the
now.
studio with him. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, well, 803
Heath did one yesterday too. I actually would love to match him up. I should have recorded Heath's. I do think mine was better.
Anonymous texter weighs in this morning. You better believe that if Clemson goes 7-6 this year and 7-6 next year, Dabo will be in line right behind Ed O. This is college football. I don't think so. Look, I do think that this is.
no.
That
I
was
don't-
not carrying off the field stuff like that. The bottom line was that all of the coaches at LSU and all of the players had quit on him because they felt like he was not carrying himself the right way and wasn't coming prepared and more worried about picking up women and things like that is the word all around LSU.
There does seem to be more to it. But the national perception is, oh, here goes the SEC again. You got a coach who's just 17 games, a year, not even almost a year and a half, right at a year and a half removed from a national championship. He's 9-8. We know that this happened for Auburn with Gene Chizik. But again, that program was falling apart. They had a generational player in Cam Newton that carried them. And Gene Chizik the next year, 2 years later, they went 3-9. They went 3-9, didn't beat a Power 5 team. 803-404-6100. Clemson Allen weighs in. He says that's a 10. Good job.
Thank you.
10.
You.
And he says he almost ran off the road laughing. Let's see here. Let me go through a couple of these real quick here. Patrick should only talk to Jen in the Orgeron voice from now on. Yeah, that would make things extremely uncomfortable around here. Nothing like HR having to get involved in the morning show early on. B from Columbia wants the SEC network to hire Orgeron to hear him talk football on
Would
Saturdays.
that be entertaining? I mean, would
Orgeron?
it? Yeah. Like, do we ever enjoy him breaking down football?
No, because we don't understand.
We don't, and
Yeah.
we don't we just like hearing him talk about his mom's gumbo and like whatever other stories he's got.
And honestly, and I know it isn't his fault the way his voice is, but that would grate on my nerves
Yeah.
in no time at all.
I would listen one game if we had the Ed Orgeron cast of him calling one game. Like trying
Or
to
the-
break it down
or
how
just
he
the,
sees it and what he would do.
I mean, they have the coaches roundtable for the national championship. He
I
could
don't-
be on that, but I feel like he would derail every story. A
Those-
coach will be breaking down what happened, and he'll just start talking about Jambalaya and Etouffee. And
Those are two. Those are it's too many when they do the coaches round. I like the Manning podcast because it's 3 at max, the 2 Mannings, and then you throw in a guest, and it's manageable. You don't have people talking over. You don't have the egos of all the coaches who want to weigh in and break down something. I'm completely with you. Let's get to a few more of these texts. York says Heath was good. Patrick did Coach O better. You got that going
'Cause I
for
got
you.
Louisiana in my blood.
Clinton weighs in. He says we love the Edo impersonation. That better be a bumper for tomorrow's show. Tiger Greg says maybe we have found Patrick's calling. Gene says a 7, but I actually understood Patrick, so I'm not sure if it was that good. So you got a lot. We got a lot going on there. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Real quick to finish this though, Patrick, you agree? Like even if it was the own the field stuff, that program is not trending in the right direction. Something
No.
seems off with that program, and Ed Orgeron seemed to have caught lightning in a bottle for 1 year. Now, I don't know what he'll do after this. Maybe he's made enough money. Maybe he just wants to stay down in Baton Rouge. His son plays at
McNeese State.
Is that who it was this year? So maybe he wants to take time off there and go and watch.
No, his son's about to graduate because that was
Okay.
the people were upset that he had talked about during the week that he'd already offered his son a graduate assistant job
Oh,
at
that too.
LSU next year.
So
And it
yeah.
was like, yeah, you're not going to make it to next year, pal.
So he was basically running it like a family run business and doing whatever he wanted to. So kind of interesting. 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. Coming up next, Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports. We'll get his take. Look, Florida hasn't fired Dan Mullen, but if you've been paying attention to what's going on down in Gainesville, they are not happy with him either. We'll get Brad's take on that. We'll talk about this LSU situation. We'll look around at Tennessee, and we'll look ahead at what Brad thinks of South Carolina as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
It's a start to a Tuesday morning from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com. I hate when Bill's right. Hey, we have a hit and run I-26 eastbound at St. Andrews Road. So do allow a little extra time passing through there. Again, that's I-26 eastbound at St. Andrews Road. And Broad River Road just south of I-26, we have a car versus deer incident. Beautiful forecast on tap. Sunny skies, 78. Overnight low, 49. And tomorrow, sunny and warm, 82 for the high. But it is 48 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just be careful around the mics. But there,
I have kept you in. It should only be 3 when we're not in. Is that correct? When we're on the air, should it be 1 and 3 or just 1?
I think you actually leave it in 3 the entire time.
And we just take it out of 1
Yeah.
for the breaks.
Yeah, you just make sure you take it out of 1 for the breaks, right?
So I've got you in 1 and 3 all the time.
Instead of potting down our mics or whatever, you pop 1 out.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
just a small adjustment, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. So I just want to be sure.
Out on 1 right now.
Right.
Correct.
I don't know, John. It felt like Kermit the Frog on steroids. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick is a moron saying they quit on Ed. If they quit on him, they would not have beaten Florida. Well, it wasn't me saying that. It's Pete Thamel saying that.
That was a text message, by the way, Patrick. Not blaming any of y'all.
It was Pete Thamel that said that. And remember when they were going to fire Les Miles because he lost the team, and then they won a game and carried him off the field on their shoulders?
Yeah, they beat. I think they beat Texas A&M. All right, everybody. So far, so good with the live stream. Now we find out if they're doing good. Brad Crawford is up next.
Okay, I'm curious.
The banner here.
Can I be heard right now? Can
Nope,
anybody
not what
hear
I
me?
want. Let me.
Because it is all about me.
Is this going to be too big?
Thank you, Carlton. I
Yes.
appreciate it. That's why we had an echo before of something else I was doing. So appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
I see what Tim did there. I'll have to play with that next. That'll be fun. Here we go.
How does 1 month free sound? Get 200 megabit per second internet for $49.99 a month and business phone for $19.99 a month. And right now, you can get 1 month of internet.
All right, we need to just kind of go back through some of this.
Call 855-258-588.
I need to get into see.
Snakes, rodents, and mold all live and grow beneath your home and eventually will find their way inside. Cancer Foundation Specialist is your local
Ah.
and crawl space seed. Call us today for a free estimate. Moisture and high humidity in your crawl space create an environment for mold and mildew and affect the air you breathe inside your home. Call Canty for a free inspection today at 753-1495 or visit cantycanfixit.com.
Are you looking for the perfect spot to spend your game day? Head to Twin Peaks, where the 29-degree draft beer is flowing. The kitchen is bursting with flavor.
Excuse me. All right, we're getting there.
Brad is ready.
The producer bug. We can hear you. Oh yeah, no, hopefully you can hear me now.
Yeah, we want you to.
Yeah, you can hear us now. I think we've got the in the middle of the breaks. Now the question will be, can you hear when we come back? Just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. That way I can kind of. But can you hear Brad Crawford? All right, here we come. We're coming back now. You should be able to hear the guest now. Here in just a second. That'll be the key. If you hear that, we have made big strides. Thank you to everybody joining us on the live stream this morning, sponsored by Buford Lending. You can make sure and you can go and check that out. You can go to the 107.5 The Game Facebook page. You can see my pretty, I probably need to shave a little bit, but my pretty face. You can see Jen, Patrick. Patrick's looked a little sleepy this morning. Keep an eye on him.
At a 4 a.m. fantasy basketball draft.
4 a.m. fantasy basketball draft, NBA fantasy basketball draft. Welcome to the life of Patrick Perrette. Ed Orgeron voices and 4 a.m. fantasy basketball drafts. Let's get out to the Love Chevy Fun Lines. Let's get away from that. Let's get out to the guest line. Joined now by Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports. And Brad, it's from an SEC standpoint for you, it is a bit of a busy week. I don't even know. Do you want a dealer's choice? Which topic do you want to start with? LSU, Florida, Tennessee fans acting like morons. Which one do you want to pick first to discuss?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, my Sunday morning started at about 5:30 a.m. with post game football coverage, and at 2 o'clock when I was about to get off work, Ed Orgeron got canned. So Sunday was a long day, and yesterday was even longer with all the rumors and speculation. But man, what a surprise at LSU, this happening mid-season. I didn't expect Ed Ogeron to be the coach in Baton Rouge in 2022, but I thought a move might be made, closer toward the end of the season, maybe mid-December. So to make this move now, to me, shows the Tigers are serious about this coaching search and at least have a guy in mind who they want to go after.
Is this excessive? That we were discussing that in the previous segment. Pat Forty had an article out yesterday kind of criticizing the SEC win at all costs. Patrick and I agree, Brad, that look, this was trending in the wrong direction. To me, this is LSU being proactive. I don't know what the coach is out there that they go get, but this is not excessive, right? This is seeing an issue within your program and doing what you have to do to fix it.
I think it's slightly excessive just because, this sort of gives me the vibe, man, that LSU walks around with its nose in the air thinking it should be an 11-1 program each and every season. I mean, imagine at South Carolina, if a guy goes 15-0, wins a national championship, and 2 years later, everybody wants them canned. I don't know. It's a little strange to me. Maybe that there's more going on in Baton Rouge than we know. But look, the program was heading in the wrong direction. The trajectory was negative here 2 years after the national championship. And I guess the LSU brass, they want somebody new in there who can take them back to prominence. And, right now, 4-3, 2 years removed from a championship is not exactly nationally relevant.
Well, speaking of that next candidate, what do you make of the Jimbo rumors? Obviously, he said that he's comfortable at A&M. There were even Dabo rumors, like Woodward needs to make Dabo say no. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to pry Joe Brady out of the NFL with his candidacy as a head coach seeming to be pretty hot and heavy coming up next offseason. Like, what do you make of any of that? Lane Kiffin, I think, is the 5-2 right now. I saw yesterday he might be the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier. Napier's a guy at Louisiana who I think wants the job in Baton Rouge. Not sure he would be offered the job if Billy Napier were the guy to get it. I think he'd be maybe the fourth or fifth choice. But, yeah, you're going to have a who's who list of coaches who are going to be on Scott Woodward's list. Obviously, Lane Kiffin is right up there. A guy like Mel Tucker as well has SEC assistant experience. And, he's a great recruiter and has done a marvelous job so far here in year two at Michigan State, has those guys 7-0 in the top 10. And then Jimbo Fisher. One of the misconceptions about his mega buyout, man, it's like $95.5 million, the biggest buyout ever in college football history is, it's one-sided. If Jimbo leaves College Station on his own accord, there is no buyout. So he would have to be fired for Texas A&M to pay that out. So it's sort of a lateral move for Jimbo, though. I mean, if he can't make the college football playoff and win a national title at Texas A&M with similar talent, facilities, deep-pocketed booster backing, he's probably not going to do so at LSU either. So if I'm Jimbo, I would at least listen to what LSU is telling me and my agent. Jimmy Sexton, I think, is the guy who represents him. I would listen to it, but I'm not sure I would leave my current situation at Texas A&M if I was Jimbo Fisher.
Would that be embarrassing for Texas A&M if he did leave? Like, I've been trying to think about what's better. I mean, is the talent better at LSU? Do you think it's a better job? The culture is different, but is it better? Like, does Jimbo fit there better? Texas A&M obviously thought that nobody would ever leave Texas A&M. Why would we even bother making someone else pay a buyout? Like, would that be embarrassing for them?
I mean, it's the same division. It's relatively the same job, and you're trying to beat the same coach, Nick Saban at Alabama. I think it would be embarrassing for A&M. They have who they think is the right guy to win a national title. A couple of years ago, making that 10-year, at the time, record-setting $75 million deal, and then to see their coach possibly leave for what I consider a lateral move in Baton Rouge. I mean, look, Jimbo Fisher might be able to recruit a little bit, maybe going from 7 or 8 average class nationally to 3 or 4. But we're just talking about maybe 1 or 2 more 4 or 5-star guys per cycle. So I think it's a move that Jimbo Fisher is not going to necessarily make, and the guy who winds up being the hire at LSU might be outside of this hot list, no more than 48 hours out from this firing.
He's Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports, talking SEC football this morning. And let's go to another coaching hot seat down in Gainesville. This kind of started because Ed Orgeron wins this weekend. And Dan Mullen not fired yet. Probably would be Todd Grantham if anybody gets fired. But again, Brad, you look at this situation in Florida. I don't know. I never thought Dan Mullen was good enough to take them to where they wanted to go. But at the same time, I still think he's a really good coach. What do you make of the situation that seems to be developing down in Florida with Dan Mullen and the Gators?
Yeah, he just can't win big games, and he hasn't been able to recruit at a top 5/top 10 level at Florida, which is necessary, to win some of those bigger games against the Alabamas and LSU's of the world, and obviously winning the SEC East last year bought him some time, in my opinion. But I thought even after winning the division last season, Dan Mullen should have made a move at the D coordinator spot. I think every Florida fan and season ticket holder down there in Gainesville will tell you the same thing. And here we are halfway through the season after division title, and Florida has these same issues. One other point is, Emory Jones is not the future at quarterback with the Gators. And, Dan Mullen's a guy who's a so-called quarterback whisperer, yet the best player at that position has mainly been on the bench this season, and Anthony Richardson. We saw in the second half against LSU, 5 total touchdowns from Richardson. Sort of proves he's the guy down there. So, they're open this week. They play Georgia and Jacksonville next, and if you see Emory Jones, man, trot out there with the ones in that first quarter, there's going to be some heavy boos at TIA, Bank Field, and Jacksonville, and Dan Mullen may know his days are numbered if that happens.
Again, he's Brad Crawford with 24/7 Sports this morning. Just in final thoughts in regards to Mullen, how do you see this playing out? It feels like it ends almost like the Orgeron situation, and it won't probably be this year, but next year, maybe 2023. I mean, how do you see this playing out with Dan Mullen?
Because he just signed an extension 4
I
months
know
ago.
and he's going to look in the offseason for another job. That's what Dan Mullen does. How do you see it, Brad?
Yeah, what you don't want at University of Florida is, you don't want a coach leading a program who, you may get to the SEC championship game during Georgia's down years, maybe once every 4 or 5 seasons. You want a national championship caliber coach. I think right now, most of the Florida brass does not believe that the Gators have that in Dan Mullen. So look, it's going to be very important to see what he does this offseason. He lost his quarterback coach before the season. That hurt in Brian Johnson. Todd Grantham has sort of worn out his welcome there. The defense is not playing well, and it just comes down to recruiting. He's not signing the 5-star guys that Urban Meyer was able to sign and win national titles at Florida. And you have to sign those guys in the SEC, or with a good roster, you're going to go 9-3, 10-2 every year, and that's what we've seen out of Dan Mullen. So Dan Mullen's a good coach. If this was a coach at Missouri winning 9 or 10 games a year, he's a lifer there. Look at Mark Stoops in Kentucky. But Florida's a different animal. You have to compete for national titles annually, or you're not going to be there very long in Gainesville.
He's Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports, joining us this morning. About a minute and a half left with you real quickly. Just wanted to get your take more on SEC football. But as you see South Carolina right now, 5 games left, 4-3 under first-year head coach Shane Beamer, your assessment of what you've seen and where this program may head over the remaining 5 games?
This is about where I thought the Gamecocks would be at after 7 games, man. I thought the Vegas win total of 3.5 was ultra low. That was one of the 3 preseason bets I made. Alabama under 12 wins and Kentucky over 7.5 were my other 2. So looking good there. But look, the Gamecocks are not as good on offense as I expected them to be halfway through the season. They're ahead of schedule on defense. And, I think all the finger pointing right now at the quarterback position and at Clayton White, the play caller on offense, they're warranted. Zeb Nolan is going to be the guy coming out of this win over Vanderbilt against A&M this weekend in College Station. Very tough game there. And then the Gamecocks have an open week to sort of regroup and just figure out, what's not working on offense. I think it's more of a player personnel and execution issue right now than it is play calling. There's been times this season I think South Carolina could have gotten, red zone conversions or chunk plays in the passing game, and for whatever reason they just have not converted it. But the offensive line right now is the Achilles heel at this program. And man, if you would have asked me that 2 months ago, I would have thought that, the play up front would have been a strength. So, these next 5 games, Gamecocks need to win 2 of them to get to bowl season. And if they are 6-6 here, after that Clemson game in November, I think Shane Beamer certainly passes his test as a first-year coach.
He's Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. Know you got a busy morning, plenty more radio to speak on, and people to bring your knowledge to. We appreciate you joining us for a few minutes this morning. Good luck the rest of the week. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Take care. Brad Crawford, follow him on Twitter at bcrawford247. The way to do that. We'll talk about that and more in hour number 2. Perry Orth coming up in 30 minutes. We'll get his breakdown. What did he see this past weekend from the offense, from Luke Doty, and his take on Zeb Noland? 7:30 this morning for Perry Orth. Again, you can join us. You can weigh in with any opinions. 803-404-6100. You can also join us on the live stream. I've put the link out on Twitter at Will, W-I-L Gunner, G-U-N-T-E-R. How you can join us. Subscribe. You make Patrick very happy. Or Coach O, you happy over there?
I'm very happy.
He's happy. Happy, happy, happy. You're listening to the early game, 107.5 The Game.
Oh, I'll be pulling that one.
All right. Everybody good? We heard that? It's a little bit better now. We're getting back to normal. Improvement? Yes? Yes, no? All right. Cookie, yeah, he does sound more like the Cookie Monster. I agree. I agree. Let's see here. Let's go back in and change the banner now. Nope. So we can go back here. Let's. Oh, we don't want to take Jen out. There we go. Maybe we'll go with the block there for it. How does the bubble?
We do have a report of a tie-up at Broad River Road just south of I-26 at Carr versus Deer.
Oh, I like that. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, that's fun.
We get a little.
Also,
Yeah,
yeah, a little color.
Yep.
There.
Gamecock Frank just threw so many different names. No, I'm not good at impressions. I'm definitely not good at impressions. I would never say that.
We'll keep that. Yeah, we'll get the camera fixed. They've got to get some different cords there for the camera to keep that working. We can get that fixed here in the next few weeks. Yeah, Thomas, we're making it better where you can hear us. We're making strides. Thank you. Audio fantastic. Thank you, Jim. Well, I'm trying to get it figured out. Just bear with me. Give me another few. Then, of course, I leave for Vegas on. I'm going to Vegas this weekend, so we'll give you an update on plans for next week. Yeah, Gamecock Frank is. I don't know. You think Lane Kiffin leaves? I don't even know if I do feel like Lane Kiffin is setting. I still think it's more likely that Lane Kiffin looks around and goes to Miami when Miami opens as opposed to LSU. I think it's just an easier path. You go to Miami. Now, let's be honest. If you were Lane Kiffin,
Is it an easier path?
would you rather? If you're Lane Kiffin, would you rather live in Miami or in
Now?
yeah, Miami or Baton Rouge?
Not everybody likes the idea of Miami.
No, but isn't he trying to be kind of a ladies' man kind of dude?
I mean, I think he's a ladies' man wherever he goes. But
Nah,
Miami, I feel
Joey
like
Freshwater does not exist anymore.
I feel like Miami's the place for him.
I feel like Miami was the place for him.
He was just down in Boca Raton not too long ago.
If this is gonna keep going out, do we like this better?
I think we might be better. What camera angle do y'all like better? Tell Patrick, give Patrick an update. What camera angle are we? Are you more you with the big green one? Do you like the kind of the 4 square like that? I think I kind of lean toward that. Send in your camera angle preferences so we can continue to work on that. Yeah, the green is unique. I do agree. Yes, I could use a Dunkin'. Dunkin' Donuts is for Friday, Anthony. Dunkin' Donuts is for Friday. Right now it's like blonde. It's the some kind of weird blonde roast from Starbucks. I've gotta go get some more Black Rifle coffee, and I've got to get some coffee for wellness. I got to get back
What
into my
is?
Phil Mickelson coffee for wellness.
We went to I went to Starbucks for the first time in probably months, maybe the first time in 2021, because my girlfriend and I were going to the dog park, and she got a apple spice macchiato.
Okay.
It was so good.
See, I'm about to crush.
It was so good.
I'm about to crush Starbucks because there's one. We're at the Aloria, right on the strip, and they have a big old Starbucks down there. And Saturday morning, I think we were talking about this Saturday morning. This is going to be so foreign to me. I have to like wake up at 8
and drink coffee.
I guess you.
Yeah, but it's cool drinking coffee for college football because that's how the noon games are for me now. Usually, like if I'm just home by myself, like this weekend, that's how it'll be. I'll get home at 6 a.m. or so from work, sleep for a couple hours, and then just drink coffee through the noon games.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be so the 9. That's what I'm thinking already. I'm like, well, I'll have a coffee for the first half or 2 coffees for the first half, and then I'll switch to some kind of early drink.
Lauren, have you had that apple drink? It was unreal. I got the pumpkin spice latte because I've never had one from Starbucks, and that's what I had to get. But the apple thing was insanely good. We have to just get rid of the banner.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get rid of that banner.
Just have to put that caramel apple, whatever it was. Tastes like. That's what I'm doing. Yep, that's what I'm doing now. So does that still taste like coffee? That macchiato?
It tasted like I don't know if that's what I was questioning if there was coffee in it. It tasted like almost like apple cidery, but warm and a little crisp.
I know it's really pathetic that I have to come up with. Does it taste like coffee?
That's exactly what it tasted like. It tasted like the filling of an apple pie.
Okay.
In drink form.
And it's what is it? It's an apple what?
It's apple crisp macchiato.
I might try one of those tomorrow morning. This all black coffee's not doing it for me. It's not working this morning. I need something with some.
All right, heading back in.
Heading back in. Heading back in, everybody. Moving you through it is Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh boy, it's not good when on the second day of the week you're confused on what day was it.
I know it's Tuesday because we're watching Monday Night Football highlights. That's the only way I can tell.
Yeah, I spent Thursday last week of the program thinking it was Friday. This week I'm on Tuesday and I'm already confused on what day it is. I think I'm going to make a fair appearance today.
For lunch or for night?
The kids and I are going to go. I think it's going to be a fair appearance. They're fired up. Now I got a bit of a dilemma on the fair. The 9-year-old, my son, he's not really into the roller coaster, like the kind of the bigger rides. He's not. He's more of the laid back, like, yeah, let's just enjoy some food, check out the animal. He's not like a.
I can dig that.
Yeah, he's not into all the the speedy rides. And my daughter is the daredevil. Like, we take her on the boat, we put her on the tube or whatever, and we can't go fast enough for her. There's nothing. My son, on the other hand, is like, Dad, I can just sit back here and cruise. You good with like 20? You get 20 miles an hour? You good on that? Let's just cruise.
That's fine for you, though, right? You can just put her, are there lines for the rides?
There will be, to answer your question.
You guys can just put her in line
But
and
she wants
sit
to
on the
ride-
bench with a corn dog.
Yeah, she's going to try to ride. I don't know if she wants to ride by herself, though. So that leaves me in a bit of the dilemma tonight. So if you see me out there, wish me luck. There will be some food. What is the fair food of the year? You didn't go over the weekend. A couple people have been.
I've only been once.
I believe I was listening to Jay's show last week. I believe Ryan Brewer is a big fair fan. I believe Courtney Levitt, who weighs in, former Gamecock, is a big fair fan. Perry Orth, That's who I need to go to. He is the fair. He is the fair
Yeah.
connoisseur.
I mean, I like fairs and I like the idea of a fair, but I feel like the prices at this fair
They are.
are anti-fair.
Yeah.
Like they're anti what the fair is supposed to be.
Yeah.
They destroy the spirit of the fair.
It will be basically because I'll do the wristbands for the kid. But one thing my son does like is the like the fun houses, like the with all the mirrors. Although like,
Mhm.
and he kind of fought through that because about 4 years ago, he walked dead into one of the glasses, one of the glass like windows in there, trying to get through the fair. So like just face first, just all into it. Like had no problem, just kept on motoring though. So yeah, I think we'll be getting through that at some point today and trying to do the fair. Probably spend some time there tonight and enjoy that. We'll talk to Perry Orth. Perry Orth coming up in about 25 minutes. We'll get his breakdown exactly on what he has seen from South Carolina's offense. Talking with Brad Crawford in the last segment. We will have that up on the podcast page if you missed that. And of course, you can always go back to the 1075 The Game YouTube page and check out the live stream. Anything you missed, the whole show is archived there. You can go to Facebook if you want, the 1075 The Game Facebook page. The whole show is archived there as well. So anything you missed, you want to go back, you can certainly catch us right there on both of those. If you're out on your treadmill or maybe you're on the elliptical and you want to watch and see or catch anything that you missed. And again, you can go to the 1075 The Game webpage, the actual webpage, 1075thegame.com, and go to the podcast page to catch any interviews that we may have throughout the week. Reminder, on Thursday, Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider will join us to break down his games of the week. Kerry Tharp on Thursday as well. Chris Deering on Friday. And we'll have some more guests throughout the week. I've got a few other people lined up. Just need to nail down the times. 803-404-6100. How you can get involved this morning. Eddie weighs in. If we go 6-6 with a win over Clemson, would that be considered a good first year for Coach Beamer? Patrick, I'd say that would be a phenomenal first year. That would be beyond expectations. I believe you would throw a slight party. That's just where South Carolina's at, right?
Yeah. What if they won 5 games? Like they didn't win any games and then they end on a win at Clemson.
If they beat, so if we look ahead, and again, some things here over the next few weeks, Missouri is going to be a winnable game. I believe I saw somebody tweet out yesterday that right now, if Vegas was doing the spreads, I believe this was according to ESPN's Football Power Index. If you were basing it on how the spreads were kind of projected, South Carolina would be a 2-point underdog at Missouri. Take that for what it's worth. I think it means nothing given that the game's still almost a month away. But if they win that game and they got to 5, you would have picked them to be 5-7. You would have picked them to be 5-7, or you did pick them to be 5-7.
I just picked them to beat Tennessee instead of Missouri.
Yeah, and not only, I mean, it wouldn't have been how you thought that they would get there. Bad offense.
But it would have been one of the games that we always do it the same thing every year. Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky. You're going to get 1, 2 of those on a good year.
Yeah, going in, I thought that they would get Tennessee. I didn't think that they would get Kentucky or Missouri, but we'll kind of have to wait and see.
Tennessee is kind of what we thought Missouri was going to be this year. I don't know that nobody expected Missouri's defense to be good, but we didn't expect them to be this bad. Like Missouri just can't win with that defense. But we thought their offense was going to be pretty high powered this year, and I don't know if Eli Drinkwitz's star has lost a little bit of its shine, but
Heath has been pounding the drum that you look at what Missouri did last year, 5-5, that it was not impressive.
Because of who they beat?
Because of who they beat. You go back, I've done the pregame show with Heath, and when we kind of go into our national or SEC look around, Heath is not a Eli Drinkowitz fan. He's not a Missouri fan, and he's been very adamant that if you go back and you look at what Missouri did in 2020 in the COVID year, that it wasn't all that impressive. And then you look at what's going on out there now and the defensive struggles that they have, Missouri's not all that impressive. That's a few weeks away. South Carolina still has to go through Texas A&M. They get Florida. They obviously have the bye week in between those two games. So we'll worry about Missouri when it comes. 803-404-6100. You can weigh in this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Papa Joe weighs in, and this is where we'll go a little bit with Perry Orth here in about 20 minutes. Why does it, and I think you messed this up, Papa Joe, but I'm going to read it the way you sent it. Why does it say that when Doty doesn't play well, it's all because of his foot? I guess you meant, why do they say? but that's all because of his foot. He doesn't throw with his foot, at least the last time I checked. I'm all for Nolan to have the last 5 games of the season. Well, number one, it is his plant foot that I believe is injured. He's stepping and planting. That is a bit of an issue when you're trying to pass the football. We don't know the extent of that injury, Patrick. We didn't know it.
We're not going to know. We're never going to know.
No, well, at some point they'll write a book, I'm sure. But we never really got the full idea of what the injury was. I find it strange now that he was dressed for the opener, even though he clearly wasn't ready to go.
Yeah.
That he was dressed for East Carolina, even though I'm 95% sure he wasn't ready to go. Obviously, he had to play against Georgia, and I thought he did an admirable job against the best defense in the country. And then I thought he made a few strides after that, but obviously the second half, look, he started 7 of 8 this past weekend. It looked like he was about to have one of his better games and then finished 10 of 19. He, for whatever reason, foot, confidence, mechanics. I don't think it was Vanderbilt. I don't think Vanderbilt figured out the recipe after the first quarter. I don't think Vanderbilt's defense magically turned it on. Something happened there with Luke Doty. But I do think it's interesting to see what Zeb Nolan now brings back to this team from a passing standpoint, because the passing game, Josh Vann has kind of disappeared. I know he's been injured, Patrick, but Josh Vann's kind of disappeared the last few weeks.
But you're going to need pass protection for
Well, that
Zeb Nolan, because that was the other thing that was kind of inexplicable, was Vanderbilt just dropping 8 guys in coverage and rushing no one and giving Zeb all the time in the world. Texas A&M's not going to do that, and they're going to have the best, outside of probably J.J. Enagbare, the best pass rusher in the conference, in DeMarvin Leal, who's going to be in the backfield every single play. So it's not going to be the same deal where Zeb's going to look like he did at the end of that game, just sitting in the pocket dealing. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be more reminiscent of East Carolina, and he doesn't have it's what we were saying. He doesn't have the legs to break the pocket and evade pressure if it's coming. So I just don't know how that's going to look ultimately on Saturday. It's not going to be pretty like it was.
You, as an offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield has to have a responsibility to understand that. You can't draw up. You can take some shots, and South Carolina's going to have to take some shots. But the bottom line is you're going to have a quick passing game. You're going to have to utilize some type of a running game. I know the running game has been almost non-existent. What kind of role does Zaquandre White play this week? And again, Shane Beamer will talk to the media later on today, 1:15. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game and get into that. But part of Zeb Nolan is you're going to have to change your playbook a little bit. This is a challenge for Marcus Satterfield. You're not going to have, and look, here's the other part about this, Patrick. When we talk about mobility, it's not exactly like Luke Doty's been out there escaping pressure on a week in, week out basis. It's hard to say that he would be labeled right now an incredibly mobile quarterback, whether it's because of the foot, because of something else.
No,
like
he's
he
still
hasn't exactly
mobile.
been.
He's mobile. He's just not a dual threat.
Okay,
There's a difference.
I'm
Like he's not a threat to beat you as a runner, or he's a threat to pick up yards, but like we thought he was going to be a dual threat, like in the style of I don't know who's a good dual threat right now that's actually like eating up yard, like either of the Florida quarterbacks.
okay. Yeah, he's not that.
He's not that as a runner. He's still mobile though, and he's still athletic. Zeb Nolan is not an athlete.
Do you know on the season? Play along with us, 803-404-6100. How many rush yards does Luke Doty have right now? Now, obviously, he's been sacked.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the negative.
It's not. He's in the positive. He's
40.
He's got 34 attempts on the year. 34 listed attempts on the year.
Probably a lot of those are sacked. I'll give him 70 yards.
803-404-6100. You can play along. He's been sacked 12 times so far. He's been sacked 12 times.
Okay.
Sack yards for loss are -76 is what ESPN is telling me. His sack yards for loss.
He's probably over 100 then.
-76. 34 attempts, 11 rushing yards.
11.
He's got a long of 23.
Yeah,
The long of 23 against Tennessee.
He has you can count on one hand the designed runs for Luke Doty this year.
I mean,
Like that's the problem. He's not being asked to do it, which I don't understand.
All I'll say is you're going to make an adjustment this weekend you're going to make an adjustment this weekend with your offensive play calling.
Are you? Because that's the
you
problem.
Let me tell you, you have to. You have to make.
But what have they been doing with Luke
adjustments.
Doty? That was kind of my issue. Is like I don't think they really changed much between Luke Doty and Zeb Nolan because you haven't seen Luke Doty carrying the football. There hasn't been design run in the playbook. That's why I was kind of befuddled. It's you got a guy that's a great athlete versus a guy that's a complete statue, and you're just calling the same plays either way.
803-404-6100. We will continue discussing this. Coming up in 15 minutes, we will catch up with Perry Orth. We'll get his take, an expert's take on what exactly he sees, and then also how the offense maybe needs to evolve over the next 5 games for South Carolina to have a chance here over the next few games to maybe beat Missouri, maybe win one more and become bowl eligible. Look, those goals are still on the table. Obviously, they're going to be a very tall task, but they are still at least out there for the moment. 803-404-6100. Also, you can join us via the live stream this morning. The audio worked well. Everybody was very happy. They were able to listen to Brad Crawford while watching our lovely faces this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Yeah, we can. She's got it figured out. Okay, let me ask, can you hear us? No, that's all. Can you hear us? Yeah, no, if you can't hear us, we're good. Yeah. That's how we know. We're getting it. We're
all right.
Oh, yeah, I need to mention Rosendo Lewis entering the transfer portal. Thank you, RL.
I didn't mention this dude. Who are you, John? Nothing I said has not been written by people that are actual journalists. I'm not putting rumors out there. There's an article in The Athletic that says all of the things that I have said. So, no, I'm not gossiping like a schoolgirl. Get out of here, dude.
That's right. You tell him. You get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. I'm trying to read. Let's see how many texts. Ray's only.
I mean, do a little homework before you start
Ray's only
saying that's wrong.
Texts.
I wonder if those rumors were about Beamer, you would do the same thing. I don't know. If there were real journalists that actually did research and it was corroborated by multiple people and it was a little more than just rumors, a lot more than just rumors, probably I would. Yeah. It's a near fact at this point.
We just don't have the Buford Lending. I didn't see the logo in it. The big one is in there, but not a little one that he's talking about
Under
on the logo.
banners.
If not,
Yeah.
do you know how to do those logos to make them smaller?
Here, we got it up now.
But that's the big one that covers the screen, right?
No. The live stream sponsored by Buford Lending.
Oh, is it that?
Yeah, there's a
But
couple
that
of
takes
them.
in now you can't put in.
Put in what?
Can you move that up to where the 107.5 The Game? Can you put the live stream sponsored by Buford
Nah.
Lending up to where?
We'd have to. I guess we could design a new one. What do you want to put there?
Well, okay. Now, if you click on somebody and what's been said, so if you put up a quote, see it covers up that Buford Lending.
But we got to just take the quotes down after we read them, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we need to redesign a new one. Did Jen do that?
Design the
Buford Lending thing.
Yeah, did you design the banners for the background? Like what's on the screen right now, the graphics?
I didn't do the live stream one. Probably could.
It actually would be funny if RL just made all his comments and then ended them with sponsored by Beaufort Lending. If we could get the live stream comments to do that, that would be great engagement for the brand.
Great engagement. Thank you, RL. Yes. Let's see if let's see. Oh, is that the Braves? Is that the old timey Braves clip of the day? All right. Let me go ahead and plug this in. There you go. Thank you, Mark. Yes. Subscribe to the yes. It's a very
That's
good.
a great idea.
It's in your phone. You've got 0 res 720.
$7:22 on a Tuesday morning. Hope you're up and Adam, wake and alert. Beautiful morning. Very nice out there. It was about mid-50s as I was coming in. A little bit warmer than yesterday. Patrick, on the other hand, still
It's
rocking
terrible.
rocking the hoodie. Coming unglued. Our resident northern host is falling apart. We have fully
anymore.
transformed Patrick into being a southerner.
I'm never going back. My parents are moving south next month, and I'm never going back.
So we've just brought him down. That's the way it's going to be. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Coming up in about 8 minutes, Perry Orth will join us to talk about what he saw from South Carolina on Saturday and what he thinks moving forward. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Kevin is up first this morning. Kevin, how you doing? What's on your mind this morning?
Hey, good morning. Doing well. How are you guys?
Very good.
Good. I've been listening to this debate and conversation about the virtues of Luke Doty and his legs and Zeb Noland and his lack of mobility. Right now, Zeb Noland is as, if not more mobile than Luke Doty right now. Whether that's true when they're at their peak, obviously that can be debated, probably not even close to true. But the reality is right now, today, Zeb is as mobile, if not more mobile than Luke. There's also something going on with Luke. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, he's not playing 100%. He's shown, we've had probably, 3 drives this year where Luke looked like what we were expecting out of him. Then inexplicably during even the course of the game, Vanderbilt's a prime example, but not the only example, where just during the game, you'll see one drive that looks absolutely great, and then the rest of the second quarter, third quarter, most of the fourth quarter, passes are nowhere even close. He's making bad decisions around things like not running plays all the way out to a fourth down or to a first down marker, handing balls off that shouldn't be handed off, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no question, and thank you for the phone call, Kevin. There's no question that Luke Doty's got to improve. I think, and Kevin's kind of insinuating that.
The beginning part is not true.
Which part? Oh, well,
Zeb Noland right now is nowhere close to as fast as
but he said
20%.
He said mobile, and there is a difference. I'm with you. If they ran a foot race, nobody's questioning.
Go back and watch the first play of the Georgia game. He was laboring.
No. You're misunderstanding. There's a difference between being fast and being mobile, and I do agree with you. The problem is Luke Doty hasn't looked. He had a great run. There was a particular one run against Tennessee where he looked mobile. I think the problem is, and I'm gonna just lump me in it for the sake of being at fault as well, because even though I don't really consider myself media anymore. That's not really what I want to be considered. When I did recruiting, I would really throw myself into this. Luke Doty got billed as almost the next Connor Shaw. And Connor Shaw was an elusive runner. Like Connor Shaw would take off
Well, Luke
running.
Doty was put at wide receiver as a freshman.
Hold on,
'cause he's
stop,
the best
stop,
athlete.
stop. Luke Doty was billed as more of a Connor Shaw. Luke Doty doesn't run in the same form. Connor Shaw could take off and was elusive. Like Connor Shaw was an elusive runner, and South Carolina fans, myself included, blame me. I'll take the blame for it. Ever since like Lorenzo Nunez, you unfortunately arrived with Lorenzo Nunez. I don't want to blame you for all of the failures of the last 7 years, but it does seem to coincide. But the bottom line is like we all started going, oh, Lorenzo Nunez is the next Connor Shaw. Oh, Brandon McElwain is the next Connor Shaw. Like there is never going to be another Connor Shaw. I think at some point we have to do that. Luke Doty as a mobile quarterback because of what he did at Myrtle Beach, because of his speed, which you were just talking about while they were talking about getting him on the field. But he doesn't seem to have that elusiveness about him. That kind of maybe it's even the wherewithal, the pocket awareness when he's in there to avoid people. Zeb Nolan is not more mobile and definitely not as fast as Luke Doty. But I'll be honest, that's maybe been the biggest thing that surprised me about Luke Doty is you just haven't seen almost any elusiveness out of him trying to escape the pocket.
Yeah, I would think that it's more mental than anything.
And it
else,
might be.
But
And it might be a split. By the way,
let's twisted. Zeb Nolan is in equal mobility as Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
And let's
he's
be
as unathletic as it gets.
Let's be fair to Luke Doty. We don't know the exactly what's the deal with the injury is. 803-404-6100. Let's get back out to the Love Chevrolet phone lines. Larry from Virginia Beach is up next. Larry, how are you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Good morning, gentlemen. Y'all doing okay?
Doing very good.
Yeah, when I was listening to the game Saturday night, I thought it was funny. Todd goes, I think they're considering bringing Zeb Nolan in the game. And Tommy Suggs goes, I think I would have considered that about a quarter ago. But anyways, there is no way in the world, if Luke Doty had come back in that game would have ended like it was. Now, one thing we do know, Zeb Nolan will not play football next year. I don't think you can be a seventh-year senior. So right now, he should be playing football. Luke Doty is the quarterback of the future, and again, he should be nursing that ankle, getting that thing well. And quite frankly, we need somebody in there. We're not going to win a conference championship. We know that. We're not going to win, the East. We're not going to win anything, but maybe we have a shot at a winning season. And that requires a quarterback with game experience. Have a good one, gentlemen.
803-404-6100. Thank you for the phone call, Larry, and good thoughts. Let's get what we'll do. We'll get to Perry Worth. Perry Worth is probably far more qualified to talk about this than we are. He is the most respectable dual threat quarterback to come through South Carolina since Connor Shaw, without
Mobile
question.
And athletic.
Mobile, athletic, big arm, all those things describe Perry Worth. And he's also a fair connoisseur. We'll get out to Perry Worth when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Of course, I'm going to the fair tonight. Then that'll probably bring leftovers home. Leftovers equal crumbs. Crumbs get into the carpet. They get on the tile. They make a mess. And, of course, at my house, that's just a constant irritation. That's why I rely on Zero Res. Get them out to the house. They do a fantastic job. Actually, coming out tomorrow. Getting them back out tomorrow to get the tile cleaned, get the carpets cleaned, get the upholstery cleaned. You get the point. Try to keep the house clean so that when people accidentally stop by to see what I'm up to, well, the house looks presentable. Zero Res makes me look good. They will do the same for you with their patented technology that uses high pH electrolyzed water, not harsh chemicals. No sticky, soapy residue is left behind. Your neighbors, your guests, they will think you are the cleanliest person in the world. They'll be very impressed. They'll tell other neighbors about it. They'll tell other friends. You're going to be the talk of the neighborhood because of how clean your house is, all because you use Zero Res. It is the ZR water technology that is absolutely incredible and scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. With fall being here, it marks the start of changing weather and the fun holiday season. It means people will be coming by. Make sure your carpets are clean. Call Zero Res right now, 803-262-4020. You can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And when you mention my name, Bill Gunner at 1075 The Game, you'll get your hallway cleaned for free. That's $75 of total savings, all just because you remembered my name, Bill Gunner at 1075 The Game. You get your hallway cleaned for free. Right now, 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com, or you can call them, 803-262-4020. Again, that's 803-262-4020, or online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. All right. Wait a little bit. Good, RL. Glad we got that fixed. Everything should be working perfectly fine now. And Perry, you should be able to hear him.
Yep.
Hear him next. And we'll get his take. I've done a good job with the times too this morning. We're even improving on that.
Next step, get rid of the green. The step after that, get people on the live stream. Get our guests on the live stream.
Yeah, we'll continue to do things we had not been doing and get those small things fixed. $800. So that we've picked up a subscriber in about an hour. Hope that's lovely. We were at
There you
872
go.
when I had to go there and grab the link. Glad you don't mind the green room. Looks good. Looks good.
Just means we're fancy.
Strides are being made. Starting to become more comfortable coming back in the studio. As I was coming across the Gervais Street Bridge this morning too, I realized that normally that was the time I'm waking up the last few months. Oh, Thomas. Well, we got an issue with the HD, not the HD. What is it? What cable is it?
The
USB cable. They got to get a stronger one. But we appreciate that you love the show. Thank you for joining us. We need to do and we'll do this here. I've got a chili cook-off I have to officiate or judge on Thursday night. Maybe when I get back from Vegas, we will have to do a live stream, a return to doing the show, a little live stream at night, little 1075 The Game, the bar, so we can get Anthony involved and his tequila, get the bourbon going. Maybe do that next week since it's a bye week. No game on Saturday. You gonna make it over here? You look like you're falling asleep.
These are the hardest days because I work 15 hours on Monday.
Well, if you want to slip out at 8, I know it's long for you.
because I do our show, then Heath's show, and then do overnight. So I don't really have time to sleep.
If Craig says he's in, so we'll get back to that. That's one of the next things too is doing a few more of the actual the evening events. We've almost settled back in. We're getting there. Yeah, they are fun. They are fun, Craig. Again, I'm kind of learning some of the dynamics with the graphics and doing all the little entertainment stuff.
Perry's ready.
There. All right, little Perry Orth action here. Y'all should be good. Any problems? Put it up. We'll try and get it fixed. But y'all should be good to go. And here's some old Perry. Big night for the Gunner family. We are going to the fair. We're going to take on the fair. So there was only one person that I knew to get on the phone lines to get an expert's opinion on the fair. It is one extremely dual threat quarterback. He's not even a dual threat. He's just extreme. He was extremely dual threat. He was all over the field. Perry Orth joins us, fair connoisseur, quarterback guru. Perry, how are you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing great. I've already been to the fair twice now since we've last talked. Only one more appearance, though. I made the executive decision that yes, I do love the fair. I love winning prizes and riding rides like a 5-year-old little kid. But I think 2 times tops is probably good enough for me for a year. But got the in-laws coming in town next Sunday, and so we're gonna do a day at the fair again. So I'll give you my 3rd update next week. But fair's been good. Got my wife a little dog. Won that on the game where you throw the baseball through the beer bottles. So
okay,
we're doing good. We had a great time and had all sorts of food. The go-to both times was the fried red velvet Oreos and the cookie dough.
Wait, so those are separate items, right? There's fried cookie dough, which sounds like a cookie. I mean, isn't that what I guess a cookie's baked? But what is fried cookie dough? Does sound delicious. That will probably be on my menu tonight. And then you said red velvet Oreos.
Yeah, so they have an Oreo stuffed in the middle of red velvet batter, and it comes with like a cream cheese, I guess like topping. I don't even know what to call it, like icing. And it's pretty solid, man. I've been getting that. It's number 6 at the very specific cart.
Perry walks up to the fried Oreo station the same way I walk up to the bar. They just know what the order is. The guy, Mr. Orth, got you right here. Three of them. What's the ride? What's the ride of choice for you? What is the go-to ride?
Oh, it's not even a question. The Crazy Mouse. It's a staple. It's there every year. You know, kind of right there on the corner of Rosewood, right next to Jay's Corner. It's a fan favorite, or maybe it's just a Perry favorite.
Perry favorite. Well, I'm heading tonight. So fried cookie dough sounds delicious. The fried Oreos, red velvet Oreos sounds entertaining. And real quick, before we move on to actual football discussion, what is the actual food item? Are you a turkey leg guy? Who is this? Anthony weighs in on the live stream and he says the donut cheeseburger for him.
Yeah, so it really depends. I'm actually not a huge fair food guy. I didn't like the foot-long corn dog. I thought the batter was a little too fluffy, maybe a little undercooked for my liking. I mean, honestly, besides that, pretty much anything. I don't really have like a favorite type of food though. I'm there for a couple of rides, there for the fried Oreos. and just the people watching.
Okay. So
Dual
there,
threat at the fair and on the field.
he is just multi-talented. He's an expert in so many fields. We don't have enough time to get all the great takes. But let's start. Let's go back last weekend, 21-20. Offense looked good, Perry. In the first, I don't know what, 10 minutes of the game, they're humming 2 touchdowns. As a quarterback, being in that position, kind of walk us through how you would handle a game like that, where things seem to start off really well, but then they kind of seem to go downhill for you.
Well, yeah, it started beautifully. Coach Satterfield, in my opinion, was his best called game. We were humming, and we had a chance to get 3 there when we went for it on 4th down. I've heard a lot of people didn't like the call. I absolutely loved the call. We just unfortunately weren't able to capitalize, and it was a conversation we had yesterday of, why do we continue to go for it on 4th down? And I love the decisions. I think Coach Beamer's trying to tell his guys that, guys, I believe in you. I believe that you're going to go and get this 1st down. And if we don't get it, I believe that our defense is going to make a stop. So I absolutely love it. I know a lot of folks will disagree, but it is what it is. But then the turnovers, the turnovers killed us. You're moving the ball, you got some good things going, and then you get a fumble, and then you get an interception, and it really puts it stalls any kind of drive, obviously, but then it kind of stalls your momentum as well. Gets in your head a little bit, and it's hard to kind of regroup. When you're on your 2nd turnover, then you're on your 3rd, then you're on your 4th, and it's like, man, when's the bleeding going to stop? I really did. I thought this was a much better game for us. I haven't gone back and watched the film like a coach would. Just being there, trying to watch it analytically and trying to take my Garnet goggles off. Yes, we would have loved to have beaten them by 2 or 3 touchdowns, but in my opinion, we continued to improve on little different, a few different things, but the turnovers offensively really hurt us. I thought defense played great, which obviously kept us in the ball game. So we're getting close. We're really getting close. And in my words, Zeb, what a performance to step in and hasn't played in a month and comes out there and starts throwing darts all over the field. I mean, what a guy. And I loved the way the kids celebrated with each other, watching Luke jump all over Zeb and Zeb all over him when he does good. It makes for a great culture of a program. Kids see it, recruits see it, the other players on the team see it, hell, the coaches see it. And that kind of leadership and character is infectious and will go throughout the program. And it may not turn into wins and losses in a week or this year, but eventually you're going to be able to recruit the caliber of kids that you want in your program that will embody that. And that will turn into more wins than losses, I can promise you.
He's Perry Orth joining us as he does each and every Tuesday to kind of break down what is happening and what he saw. You mentioned that with Zeb Noland, and I saw you do that a couple of times in your career. You got forced into a very tough situation, having to come off the bench. What is that like for a Zeb Noland? What can you explain the mentality there? Can you explain the feelings when you have to come off the bench in that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're watching the game, you got the headset on, so you're listening to the coaches talk. You're identifying coverage. Like the games that I didn't play, that I was on the bench and had the opportunity to come off if something wasn't going right. I always had a clipboard, so I was charting formation and coverage. So it was almost like I was getting a cheat sheet before I went into the ball game. I was like, okay, we're in Dub's right, and they're playing cover 2 to this. And then you start seeing patterns throughout the course of the game as you write it down. And so then when you get out there, you're like, oh, okay, we're in doubles right. So probably getting 2, you look and there's 2 safeties, and now you kind of know where you're going with the ball almost pre-snap. So there's an advantage there. And then the other advantage is you get, it's almost like a more freeing feeling, because, if they're putting you in, it means it hadn't really gone right. So you kind of have this monkey off your back, like, all right, I'm just going to get in there and chunk this thing around and try to make it happen a little bit, because we're not doing too hot on offense, so I may as well go in there and try to make something happen. Obviously within the confines of the offense. And Zeb, man, he made some spectacular throws. I think his best throw was the corner route to Carryon Joyner. I mean, he floated that ball perfectly right over the corner's head, right on the sideline. DK made a great catch, got right out of bounds. And the offense really jived with him when he was in there. And I'm excited to see Zeb play again. I think that, obviously the Eastern Illinois game, he had a heck of a game. And East Carolina, he still threw the ball really well. There were some bad moments, but second game of the year, really the first game, because the first team wasn't very good. And he went out there and he played with extreme poise and confidence. He's a gunslinger and he's going to turn it loose. And right now, when you need a spark, you kind of need somebody like that to kind of, fire the offense up. And I think he's going to do a good job for us. And I think that he's going to, because if you look at the schedule, I don't think there's absolutely cannot win this game. Every game is a winnable ball game for South Carolina, and I hope that our guys play with that type of confidence.
He's Perry Orth joining us as he does each and every Tuesday morning. Got some questions for you on the text line. I'll get to those. We'll continue rolling through, get a few more food thoughts as well as, South Carolina and where they go from here. 5 games left, Perry, 4-3 bowl eligibility, still a possibility. So we will get to more of that in just a minute. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Go make it, buddy? Yeah. All right.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com. Things looking good out there. All earlier accidents have been cleared. In your forecast for today, sunny skies and a high of 78.
Patrick's a
Cool
fighting
start to your morning. It is 48 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Fight. I think the good fight is getting to him. There is a lot that I need to go back and kind of learn about these little some of this little live stream stuff here. Some of which I'll get the hang of, some of which I won't. Right now, we're trying to figure it out. Let's see here. I don't know where Patrick got this. Oh, I see. I see. So I would need to go in. I guess I could go in and create. Have to play with some of these overlays tonight. Yes, Perry's coming back. We didn't hang up on Perry, Craig. He'll be right back. So I said we got some questions. Oh.
Yeah, this is why I'm definitely not doing anything by myself on Tuesday.
I understand.
I'll be happy if we were on national on Tuesday.
see. We got the Brad Crawford stuff. Yep, we're good. Yeah, I talked to John Sampson. I talked to John.
Come back in.
Landon Sampson's dad yesterday for 45 minutes. Rolling along with Perry Orth, our fair guru, our Gamecock guru, quarterback, dual threat quarterback guru. So many titles. How do you get all that on a business card?
Wow, dude. I'm gonna start calling myself that when I go into meetings at work. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm the fair food guru, quarterback guru, and Gamecock guru.
Yeah.
So whatever I say is right.
That's amen. Amen, bro. That's why we love having you on each and every Tuesday morning. Let's get your opinion on this. Josh weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. He says, can you ask Perry about scripted plays to start the game and if that's what led to the first 2 early touchdowns and then how that plays into the rest of the game and lack of offensive production? Scripted plays are weird to me, Perry, because I understand, things evolve, change. 1st and 10, your first play of the game, you got it scripted. But then if you gain 13 yards, it feels like maybe you do something different. You change it. If you gain 2, you change it. But talk about scripted plays to begin a drive.
Yeah, I don't, that's not my cup of tea per se, but I don't exactly know what they do. I know that they probably script out a handful of plays and use that as kind of like a menu to call off of for the first couple drives of the game. But you're right. I mean, you go out and you have a 25-yard completion or a 25-yard run. That may not mean that you're going to run the exact play that you have scripted or that you thought you might want to call because, hey, typically, we see the team does this. But, yeah, you're right. The first play of the game, you always want to try to do something that one is either an easier play to just get you through the ball game or to get you started in the ball game, I should say, or a shot play, right? Or there's something that they really like to do. They line up in the base coverage to start off the game, and maybe you want to take a shot. But yeah, you definitely don't want to script too many plays out because then you turn into a robot, and you definitely don't want to do that when you're calling plays.
Looking ahead quickly here, about a minute and a half left to this coming week with not just Texas A&M, but the following weeks. How does this offense improve? What gives them a chance to win game number 5, potentially game number 6? What do you need to see?
Yeah, I think Zeb's going to bring he's going to bring some explosive type plays. I think back to the passing game. I think that I'd love to see Jaheim Bell get the ball more. I loved how they tried to get him the ball. Continue to do that. Actually, the running game was pretty good Saturday. We didn't have any crazy 70-yard runs, but Daquandre White ran the ball, had like 6 yards of carry, and Marshawn Lloyd did as well. Obviously had a fumble, but it's starting to gel a little bit, starting to get better. We had some different variations in the run game, which was great. I loved seeing that. I think it helped us a bunch. Well, ultimately, what's going to help us the back half of the season is we take care of the football. We're going to be okay. I think, again, offensive line's protected and better. We're doing some good things. It looks like we're starting to find some talented receivers, right? Xavier Legette had a big game. Obviously, Josh Vann has played well. DeCarrion's catching the ball well. We've got the pieces of the puzzle there to definitely go out and get 2 more. I don't know who those 2 are, but they're out there, and I'm confident that we'll get it. I like us in the Missouri game, and I think the Florida game's a sneaky game for us. I think that they're kind of reeling right now. They haven't been playing well versus Power 5 teams, and I think that's a game we could sneak up on, and then we'll get Clemson this year.
Oh,
I like it.
He's putting it out there, folks. We'll get Clemson. It's October 19th, and Perry showing up with the confidence. Might have been the overindulging of the red velvet Oreos, but you're feeling yourself this morning. That's all right.
No doubt. No, I'm a Gamecock man. You gotta side on the side of the Gamecock.
fair guru, fair food connoisseur, quarterback guru, Gamecock guru, Perry Orth. We appreciate you joining us each and every Tuesday. We look forward to our meeting next Tuesday. Good luck at the fair again this week. Trip number 3.
Yep, that's right. See you, man.
Take care. Perry Orth joining us. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Perry Orth 10. We'll do a whole nother hour. Patrick's going to try and stay awake. Maybe we'll get more Coach Orgeron voices from him. He's dropped his phone and his headset. He's falling apart. We'll continue on. Early game, 107.5 The Game. All right.
I added a spot or two here, so we'll be like 2 minutes over at the top hour.
All right. Let me see here. What do we got here? We'll do 2 breaks.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to text you. You have 2 breaks, AAA and Corley Pools.
We'll kind of recap this, go over kind of maybe even mention, we'll upset people even more. Mention NBA opening night.
Yeah, what games are being played?
I think it's just Lakers and Golden State and Bucks and Nets. I think Bucks Nets early.
Yep.
Oh, Sam can confirm Red Velvet Oreos are very delicious. I just feel like I've got to have some milk or something with that when I drink that, or when I eat those. Like I don't know if I can just be. I feel like a Pepsi with Red Velvet Oreos is way too much. Like just that seems a lot. The fried cookie dough, I'll definitely get on board with tonight. I got to make a decision. I'm a regular corn dog person at the fair. I'd normally go for the Pronto Pup, but as much as I like the food, I always get worried about spilling something on my shirt and then walking around being that guy. Yep, Mark, we need to mention Braves. I need a pen. I need to write some of this stuff down. So many things. Let's see here. No college football tonight, I believe. I believe we're a college football list tonight. I believe it starts back. Yeah, Coastal Carolina tomorrow night.
App State.
Coastal and App State tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
that's a good game. 3.5 point spread. Maybe less now. Maybe more now. I don't know.
You know what do you got? Where'd your C4s go? Did you go away from those?
Yeah.
Was it not good?
They're hurting my chest. My heart was in pain.
His heart was in pain. The C4s. Patrick does not recommend the C4s.
No, I just don't. Yeah, it's too much caffeine. I'm also in a big not spending any money mode right now.
Oh,
I'm going to try and not spend money until basically for the end of the month. Get through this week and this weekend with what I've got at the house. Then next week, because then I'm spending a whole week in Nashville.
whole week in Nashville.
That's not going to be cheap.
No, that is not going to be cheap. That's all right. I'm going to Vegas. I'm not a huge like gamble person. Like I'll take some games. I'm going to do some blackjack.
What's a better trip? This is for everyone. Starting in Vegas, going from Vegas to the Grand Canyon to Phoenix to Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Vegas to LA to San Diego.
All right, give me the first one again.
The first one is Vegas, the Grand Canyon, Phoenix, Arizona / like Flagstaff, just down straight there, Scottsdale, that whole area, and then end in Albuquerque, New Mexico, driving through the desert, or just go from Vegas to LA and spend like 3 days in LA.
I do LA and San Diego. Like that's the direction I would go.
We were
Steven tells you the Capitals have a big game tonight. Who the Capitals got tonight?
gotta get the.
And
Can they still hear us?
Jason tells you Vegas to Grand Canyon. He is all in, and Anthony says he's done the second trip.
Yeah. So what we were saying was the only reason we would do the desert trip is because when are we ever gonna just go on a trip to like Albuquerque, New Mexico, or just make a trip to the desert? Like, yeah, we would make a point to go to the Grand Canyon later in life, but we would definitely try and go to LA at some point in our lives. So it's more likely that we would return to LA or San Diego.
And maybe it's something where you go to LA when you're more established and have more resources. You know, like you're going to want to spend money in Los Angeles. So I think you get more bang for your buck going to the desert too.
Yeah, and we were just gonna $500. You can rent a conversion van for 5 days. Sleep in a van.
Sleep in a van?
Yeah, like a conversion van with a bed up, like a.
Yeah, that's not something you can do with the family. Well, you could, but wouldn't be as fun.
A wedding in Vegas on a Saturday, and then I was gonna just take the week after that to do the trip. I also think, if you have a wedding weekend in Vegas, it would be good to go to the Grand Canyon after that and just kind of
chill.
Yeah, heal you a little bit.
Oh, a lot of people weighing in. RL says Vegas, Grand Canyon through Zona. Randy tells you the first trip. I think people are weighing in on. I think they're telling you got to go to Canyon in Arizona.
I really did think I definitely expected people to be like, "No, don't go to LA." I was expecting this answer.
They'd say not go to LA?
Yeah. I've never heard anyone say that they went to the Grand Canyon and were underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, I went to. It was in high school, but what was it? Grand Canyon, and we also went to. Is it Hoover Dam? What's the big?
In Vegas?
Yeah, by Vegas.
Yeah, we went out there. I guess I'll fly over to Grand Canyon. I'm taking Spirit Airlines on Friday. Don't I fly over to Grand Canyon? I feel like I did that. Am I crazy? Was that another flight that I took?
Yeah, it depends on the route they take, but
Airlines takes whatever route the plane is pushed. Like it's like a paper plane, and it's just weaving in and across America, and then I land.
Yeah, Hoover Dam's
cool.
Oh, RL says option 1 before you have kids.
I can't imagine LA is very ugly.
Some of the streets are. I mean,
Arts, but like it's an enormous city.
yeah, definitely.
Dirty, I can definitely see.
But
taking the drive up the Pacific Coast Highway from Los Angeles to Monterey, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Back and open.
And producer extraordinaire, Jen Johnson. The coffee is brewed, the donuts are fresh. It's time for the early game. Hey, will you guys let me know if this ever airs? On 107.5, The Game.
Big thank you again to Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports joining us in the 6 a.m. hour this morning to talk SEC football, what's going on with LSU and Ed Orgeron, what's going on at Florida with Dan Mullen. We didn't get much into the Tennessee situation and their fan base, but he also weighed in on where South Carolina stands through 7 games. You can go to our podcast page, 107.5 The Game, You can check out the podcast page and you can re-listen to that interview if you missed it. Also, Perry Orth in the previous hour, you can hear what he had to say regarding South Carolina's offense. I thought it was interesting, Patrick, because I agree with Perry, and having never played quarterback outside of EA Sports and some fabulous college football games, I'm not a fan of scripting plays. But I guess I can understand how it helps offensive coordinator. Like if you were an offensive coordinator, do you think you would script plays? I know we can never fully answer that until we have to do it, but do you think you would come out and have plays scripted?
I liked the way he described it as a menu where, you have the 10 plays that are your best plays. Because that honestly is so important, just running the plays that you're the best at.
Right.
Like everybody's on the same page. Your offensive line is bad right now. So if these are the 10 plays that they're really comfortable with and the timing, or these are the 3 runs that we know that the timing is going to be right if we pull somebody and whatever it may be. I don't hate the idea of that. And honestly, how many times in a football game do we see, not just South Carolina games, any football game, you see an offense come out on the very first drive and just look unbelievable, just methodically march down the field and score a touchdown, and then they don't score for another 10 drives or something like that. It happens all the time.
I'm not look, I'm just using examples, but how many times did we see South Carolina be able to score on the opening play? Tennessee comes to mind, Kentucky comes to mind under, I think it was both of those.
And then you just settle in.
Yeah, I think one was under McClendon, one was under Roper. I'm not a fan of it. It's interesting to hear that concept. And again, I think until any of us had to be an actual offensive coordinator at either a high school or a college level, it's hard to say what exactly you would elect to do. I would think that what Perry described is as I would have a set number of plays, 10 to 12, that we've worked on all week.
Yeah, hammer home. These are going to work against this defense.
And that's the direction. It would be interesting. I've always wanted to, like, if anybody out there has a JV football team or the varsity season's going real well, and you want a radio host with 0 head coaching, assistant coaching, or high school playing football experience to come be offensive coordinator for a game, I'm your man. Call Jen now and get me lined up. Again, I didn't play high school football at Lexington. Jimmy Satterfield told me I was too short. I wasn't fast enough, that they had enough water bottle people on the sidelines, and the towels were always clean enough. I didn't need to do that job either. So I never played for Lexington High School. And then obviously, once you don't play, very rarely do you become an assistant coach at the college level and or a head coach. It becomes very difficult.
You weren't in charge of uniforms? I assume that, your fashion.
Coach Satterfield was, he really did not want me to be around his program.
Oh, just overall.
Overall, yeah. He wasn't really thrilled that I was a part of the basketball program, I believe.
Did he not really want you living in Lexington?
I think he was okay with that.
Okay.
I think he was okay with that because my father paid the taxes on time and seemed to do those things. But yeah,
outside of
the
that,
true story, like you're laughing about that. Coach Satterfield got there right when I got to Lexington High School, sometime around 96, 97, whatever. And, he would do what I'm sure most high school coaches do, which is, you walk through the cafeteria, you glance around. If there's a bigger kid that maybe he's not been on the field, you encourage them to come out. Patrick, that ever happened at your school, lacrosse or anything? You ever see the coach just wandering through?
Kind of. Not really like that, though. Not through
the
lunchroom and said, "Oh, you're big. What sport do you play, kid?"
It was more registration because my son was always he's more barrel chested and taller.
Yeah.
And he played baseball like all through growing up, and he'd be at registration at junior high and then at high school. You play football? No, I play baseball.
Yeah.
You want to play football? No.
Coach Satterfield would wander through, and I knew Coach Satterfield because, again, I was on the basketball team, and he was the athletic director, and he was familiar with who I was and everything. So he walks through the cafeteria. I don't know. So sitting at the lunch table, and he was talking to a few people that I was sitting around and about them being out there for like the start of spring practice the following year, and kind of joking. I was like, "Hey, Coach, you want me to come out? Basketball's over. I can't come out." He's like, "No, we're good without you. We'll be perfectly good." And I think he was joking. To this day, I think he was joking, but you never can quite tell. You could never. But he was very, very successful, Coach Satterfield. Jimmy Satterfield at Lexington had an incredible coaching career. But, yeah, I would like to be an offensive coordinator, just to experience it one time to see what it's like. Based on my EA Sports college football playing experience.
It's much easier when you don't have to coach them how to run the plays. They just hand you a play sheet
true.
and say, "Here's what we're running."
It is true. It is true. It would be
But
interesting.
I need the pictures.
So,
Like, you can't just read the play sheet and it'll say Spider 2 Y banana. I need to know what
need
Spider 2 Y banana looks
it's
like.
kind of it's kind of like when you play college
Yeah.
football and it gives you the exact
Yep.
diagram. Yeah, that kind of is how it goes. 803-404-6100. Again, big thanks to Brad Crawford joining us around 6:40 this morning. Perry Orth joining us in the last hour. Again, anything you missed, we have it archived for you. You can go to the podcast page, 1075thegame.com. You can check that out. You can hear those interviews if you missed that while you're on the treadmill or while you're on the elliptical or while you're just sitting at your office today. If you missed those, you can go back and listen. You can also go back and rewatch the show. Anything you've missed, we've been discussing on the live stream. Patrick's taking a trip here in the coming months. He is debating
next May.
Next May.
Yeah.
Okay, coming months. That stands for next May. Next May, you have got two options. You're going to go to Vegas.
Yeah, going to a wedding in Vegas, and then I'm taking the week off after that, and we are either going to go to the Grand Canyon and Phoenix and then end up in Albuquerque, or we're going to go the opposite direction and go to California, drive to LA, check out LA for a couple days, and go to like San Diego or something around that area.
So we've been on the live stream. We have discussed that, Patrick's plans, and what is the better trip. And we have discussed fair food, as Perry brought up in the previous hour, red velvet cake Oreos. So with all that being said, you can join that on the live stream if you want to weigh in this morning. Appreciate everybody joining us there and continuing to weigh in. 803-404-6100. It is an actual pretty big day of sports for you Braves fans out there. They will get going this afternoon. 5:08 is first pitch time out in Los Angeles. Braves with a 2-0 lead. Patrick, I know you've been pretty checked out on the Major League Baseball playoffs. You were kind of done with those. You're not really involved at all. But Braves tonight looking to go up 3-0. First game back in L.A. Again, 5:08 start time, 2:08 out in L.A., which I find extremely weird. Don't know why they do that. As an East Coast person, I'm all for it. Like the 5:08 start time. As a West Coast person, I'd be extremely upset at a 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon start time for a pretty important National League Championship Series game.
I would hate it, but if I was living in LA, I probably would have a totally different style of life. So I don't know that it would be too bothersome. I think also LA fans, Dodger fans are known to just not be there at the start of the game, and then it starts to fill up by the end. They're just not.
They did that. I forget which game it was a couple weeks ago and they admitted that, trying to get over Dale. I think it was the game 5 of the Giants series, or it might have been game 4 of the Giants series, where it was like a 5 o'clock or it was like a 7 o'clock start time, their time, but it was like late 4:30, almost 5 o'clock. So it might have been closer to 8 o'clock. And they were talking about people trying to navigate Los Angeles traffic to get to the ballpark. And by the 6th inning, it was a really good crowd. But for about the first 3, it was non-existent. Then you had people kind of trickling in throughout the game. So kind of interesting to see this afternoon. Braves, Dodgers
So
again.
Walker Buehler is going tonight for the Dodgers, I guess.
Yes.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah. So that'll be the Braves and the Dodgers again later today, 5:08 Eastern time. You can check that out. Braves looking to go up 3-0. Red Sox last night pummel the Houston Astros. They'll play again tonight. Red Sox won 12-3. Had a big, I believe it was a 5 or 6 running. I was watching it. They hit a grand slam in the inning last night to really take control of that game. I was flipping back and forth. Your other sports event last night, Tennessee Titans knock off the Buffalo Bills 34-31. Patrick, is Derrick Henry the best running back in the league?
Yeah.
It's not even close, right?
No, it's not even close. He's so good. He's such an anomaly because he can, I'll pull up the stats and I'll get him to you, but the workload that he's able to handle is unlike anyone else. Like, just look at how much Christian McCaffrey has been hurt. Derrick Henry had like almost 100 more carries than anyone else in the league last year. Just he carries the ball so much, never gets hurt, never fumbles, never slows down. He's 240 pounds. He's as fast as any running back in the league. And even though he doesn't look like it, I think he's already at 800 yards on the year and 10 touchdowns. He's just a monster. He's so good.
What's the shelf life on him then?
We don't know because he's the anomaly. This was the year that he was supposed to slow down. If you look at all of the analytics of number of carries and time in the league, this was where you're supposed to start trending downwards. but Derrick Henry doesn't slow down because he truly is built different.
Derrick Henry 6'3". He's listed at 247 pounds. I don't know if he's bigger or smaller in terms of weight wise. As Patrick pointed out last year,
He's got 72 more carries than anyone in the league right now.
this year he's got 162 carries on the season for 783 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Next is 90 carries.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's a different guy. I remember meeting him at Yulee High School when he was a freshman. I went down, was doing recruiting, and met Kelvin Rainey at the time. They brought out Derrick Henry, and it was I thought they brought out an assistant coach to meet me. To give you the background on his numbers, his second year in the league, he played in all 16 games. Second year in the league, he played in all 16 games. He had 176 total carries for 744 yards. This year, through 6 games, as Patrick just said, 162 carries, 783 yards. His last 3 seasons have been ridiculous. 215 carries, 303 carries, 378 carries. Last year, 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
You're not supposed to be able to do that.
You're not, but again, in the running back shelf life in the NFL is very limited. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for him and how long he can go absorbing those hits.
Yeah. Did you like, by the way, to the Monday night game, did you like the decision at the end? Did you see what happened? 20 seconds left, down 3. The Bills are on the 3-yard line, 4th and 1. Instead of kicking the field goal to tie it and push it to overtime, they decided to go for it on 4th and 1 from the 3 and didn't get it. They tried to they had Josh Allen in the shotgun and rushed him up under center and then tried to sneak it. But it looks like Jeffrey Simmons, I think that's big number 98 right there. Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State got in there and stopped him. Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons and stopped him. So they were going for the win. Do you like that?
I do. Yeah, I think you're seeing with the NFL with the extra game, 17 games.
I also think that was an analytics move.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're on the road, 17 games. I know we're talking maybe 5 plays, 10 plays. I don't think teams want to go to overtime and continue playing the game. You got a chance to win it. As you just pointed out, by the way, you go to overtime, you kick off, or if you don't win the toss, the other team's got a chance to go down and win it instantly. They can kick a field goal. You got to run more plays. I think most teams, and Buffalo's 4-1 or was 4-1. They're 4-2 now. They were 4-1 last night. They're in control right there of that division. The Patriots aren't going to do anything. The Dolphins stink. They just lost to the Jags. That division, the Jets aren't scaring you. They're going to be fine if they lose the game. You go in there. They botched the play last night, but certainly an opportunity to just go win the game. You're at the 3-yard line. There's no telling you'll get a better chance.
And I think that if you're doing it analytically, all you need is more than a 50% chance that you would convert that 4th and 1. I think all the numbers would probably say that their chances of scoring are pretty high there. So I think more times than not, that's probably going to work out when the Bills are in that circumstance.
I know all of y'all are going to love what I tell you next, but tonight also NBA opening night of the NBA. I know all of you are thrilled right now. Everybody's hands went up. Everybody now is very fired up. Tonight, Brooklyn is at Milwaukee, Golden State at Los Angeles, both of those games on TNT. So, again, fun sports night, Braves, Dodgers, Red Sox, Astros. You got NBA tonight. Tomorrow night, we were talking about this also off air. Tomorrow night, Coastal Carolina and Appalachian State, a pretty good Wednesday night college football game. Patrick, did you verify? You said the line you thought was 3. Is that you're going to – we
For
stick
Coastal?
with it? Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
That
about? I'll
seems
pull it up right
low.
now.
That seems low after App State got walloped last week by Lafayette.
It opened at 3. It's now 4.5.
Okay, 4.5 Coastal on the road at Appalachian
Or
State.
4.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's still right around that number.
so got that tonight. NBA and Major League Baseball. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. I see you on the Love Chevy phone lines. We'll get out to you. We got people on the live stream weighing in as well on Derrick Henry and on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. We'll get to all those. We'll get back into some Carolina football discussion here as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. It is that time of year. You're probably feeling it in the morning. It's a little bit chillier. Maybe you're waking up the night before. You still had the air conditioner on. Your house is below 70 degrees and you feel a little chill in the air. I'm telling you, that's temporary. You don't get that heating and air unit fixed, it's going to be permanent and you are not going to be happy, let alone kids, animals, anybody else in the house with you, all because you didn't do one simple thing. You could just call AAA Heating and Air today and get a $59 inspection of your heating and air unit to make sure everything's working well. 803-677-1500. AAA Heating and Air, a family-run company that wants to make sure your family is happy. That's why they work with you on extremely low prices to make sure your heating and air unit is working properly. $59 for a simple inspection right now to make sure everything is working great, so that when we do get these colder months, these colder mornings, that you wake up, you're not freezing, people aren't angry at you. That's what they're there for, to make sure your heating unit working perfectly fine. Give them a phone call today, 803-677-1500. If there is an issue, don't worry about it. AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of. They'll offer you a $1,500 buyback, a rebate to buy back your old unit. Then they'll work with you. For those who qualify, 0% financing, no money down on a brand new unit, and then a 15-year parts and labor warranty to make sure that unit continues to perform at the level it's expected to. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Give AAA Heating and Air, give AAA Heating and Air a call. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
All right. All right. We kind of rolling along. We get you out of here, into bed there. Chuck, I can get into the NBA a little bit. I have a TV is a weird thing for me, like at night, just to have it on. Like I'll have I'm a person who will put NBA on, or like last night I had the baseball game on, but I wasn't really paying attention. I think you might need to unplug this.
No, they can hear us.
Oh, okay.
You guys can hear us, right? You guys can hear us, right?
Patrick.
Yeah, see, our thing is
blinking,
pulsing.
But yeah, I like last night I had the Red Sox and the Astros on. But I do agree. NBA playoffs, all playoffs are pretty good. I'd probably watch. I will agree with Chuck. I could probably watch more NHL than I did. Did you get to the bottom of who the Capitals play? Somebody told you to wake up.
The Capitals play the Avalanche.
Oh, Capitals and Avalanche. Yeah, the mics. You should be able to pick us up on all the mics.
Well, that's why you might be sitting too far back.
Is it? You should still be able to pick us up on the mics. I don't think you. Did Adrian Peterson last forever? I feel like, I think in the grand scheme of things, his career wasn't like super long. I think it was 8 years?
No, he was drafted in 2007. He played he played this year.
Well, no, but his he's still playing, I think, but his productive years, I think, were.
He was good in Washington. He had a 1,000-yard year in 2018 at age 34. Age 33.
He did come back and have a pretty good year in Minnesota in 2015. Oh, wow. You already did have a 1,000-yard year in 2018. On only 251 carries, too.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I guess he has actually still continued to be pretty good. Yeah, Peterson is. I didn't realize. I thought my memory of him stopped in 2013 after 7 years, and 6 of them were very strong. He did take a lot of carries. He had 3 300-yard carry seasons.
On the phones, you have the complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Sounds that way.
Yeah, it sounds that way. I said, he said how sorry they are, and I said, oh, lifelong fan. Oh yeah, you know my pain.
You know my pain. Right. It's pro right there.
Frank Gore Jr. is also electric. Did you read the top 25 preseason?
Basketball poll? I hadn't seen it. I saw it, but
Maryland's undervalued.
I probably pay less attention to basketball polls than I do anything else because they're about as irrelevant as.
Maryland's at 21. They should be in the 15 range. Top 15.
I don't. I know you all have hot takes that you want to get out. Normally you weigh in on the text line or you give us a call. We got the live stream. We also have the Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline. You can call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's always there for you when you need to vent or offer constructive criticism. I feel like those are two entirely different things. 803-978-6654, 1075 The Game in Twin Peaks, giving you the chance to speak your mind whenever you feel like it. Again, it's the Hot Take Hotline there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a different phone number, 803-978-6654 when you need to vent. So if you're watching South Carolina this coming Saturday night, we're not available to reach. I mean, certainly you can tweet at us, but we're not available for you to call the radio show and express a hot take about how angry you are about something. Nope, you can just call the Hot Take Hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 803-978-6654, sponsored by Twin Peaks. For the men who never settle, go see them down in the Vista, 600 Gervais Street. Couple text messages here on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Tim from Sumter, Derrick Henry obviously cheats. It's unreal what he does. I think it goes without saying he's definitely a cyborg. Fair?
It is. I really think so.
Fair. Raphael says, if I'm Buffalo, I wouldn't want to defend Henry in overtime either. It's a good point.
Because it's the classic cliche of a bruiser running back is that he just gets stronger as the game goes on. That's really what it is. And Derrick Henry gets harder to tackle as the season goes on, which is why he always puts up massive numbers when we get into December because no one could tackle him in the cold.
We were discussing on the live stream Patrick's impending vacation in May. It's close. It's not really close, but it's kind of close, depending on how you feel about the month of May. I'll turn 40 that month. Kentucky Joe weighing in. He says, Patrick, New Mexico has Roswell, the Painted Desert, Billy the Kid, all worth the drive. California, wildfires, smog, celebrities that have been drinking, also worth the drive. So you got that. Okay. Please go in. Hot Sauce Ross is concerned that you're jinxing Derrick Henry.
We've said this for years, though.
What
we're saying about Derrick Henry right now.
Yes, but he's concerned because he says he and old man Brady are carrying his fantasy football team, and he's begging you to please.
I've been trying to jinx both of them for years.
And it's not working.
It's not working.
So Hot Sauce Ross, you're good. You're good. Will weighs in. He says there's absolutely nothing good and decent in LA, Patrick, but I guess everyone needs to experience it for themselves, but would recommend every other part.
I'm a movie guy.
They want to see a
I
little
would
bit
like to go. See,
Hollywood.
I want to go see a movie at the Chinese theater.
Okay.
The one where they do all the premieres.
All right.
Yeah.
There's that. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning if you'd like. Again, if you missed anything that we've done, Brad Crawford earlier this morning talking SEC and South Carolina, you can go to the podcast page, 1075thegame.com. Check out the podcast page. Also, if you missed out on Perry Orth, you can go check that out as well, 1075thegame.com, the podcast page. Let's get out to Billy on the Love Chevy phone lines. And Billy, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
I'm doing well, and thank you for taking my call. I guess I just lied to you. I said I'm doing well. I'm not. I'm tired of product that the Gamecocks put on the field, and I'm not even talking about Vanderbilt. I mean, that was bad, but I just can't get over the Tennessee game. I mean, I saw somewhere where the rosters from a talent perspective, and I'm sure there's some wiggle room there, and it's not 100% accurate, but based on the recruiting and the stars and all that, that the rosters are pretty much similar in terms of talent. And you got a first-year coach on both schools. How on earth did we get the pants beat off of us like that? I mean, I get it; it was up there, but Beamer needs a chance. That's fine. But looking in the past, how can we be the flagship university of the state, in the state capital, the best conference in the country, and we ain't never even won the conference, and we ain't never gone to a good bowl game or a BCS bowl, whatever they call it these days.
Mm-hmm.
Spurrier came close, but why can't the law of averages, I believe, tells you, and we've been in SEC for 30 years. How come we can't get over the hump? We are the SEC school in this state. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, it's hard. It's hard being a Carolina fan.
80, thank you for the
I thought he was going to say, how can we be the flagship university and be the third best team in the state?
803-404-6100. Jen, if you will get that one, put that one on the podcast page, please. That will be Tuesday morning therapy for Billy. Hang in there, buddy.
I also like the
hang in
good.
There.
Actually, I don't know why I said I'm good.
He doesn't know why he's good on a Tuesday morning. It's still sticking with him. That
You
Tennessee,
instinctively say, when somebody says, how are you? You instinctively say good. But
I
he's
think
like, wait,
you do,
actually,
right?
never mind. Yeah.
You
But
do
I
that.
get it.
Y'all do
Oh,
that as
yeah.
well when people ask you
Always.
how you're doing. You're just like,
good.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And then it takes you a minute to realize, no, I'm actually not good. I'm not good at all. I'm really actually doing very poorly.
I'm actually still upset about something that happened 2 weeks ago.
I've been limping, or I've been personally limping around for like 7 weeks. And when people are like, how are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually doing really well. Turns out I'm not. I'm not actually. Is it Chuck weighs in on the live stream? Says it's all about the quarterback position, Billy. We need another Connor Shaw and a few Sterling Sharps would help. Sterling Sharps. I like how Chuck put that, a few of them all at the same time. Quarterback, South Carolina has had good quarterback play. Not great. We agree on that. Is that the biggest issue in 25? Like, there's been
Not
good.
in the Tennessee
I'm not
game.
saying
South Carolina was out coached.
Yeah.
In Knoxville.
That too. Yeah.
That was what it was. Josh Heupel's a good football coach.
But
he knows what he's doing.
Is it as simple as just look? There's been Phil Petty was a good quarterback. He wasn't great. He was a good quarterback. Blake Mitchell had moments. Steven Garcia had moments. Connor Shaw was a great quarterback. South Carolina hasn't had good quarterback play. Jake Bentley was average. I thought Jake Bentley got way too much criticism when he was here than he should have, and I think people are kind of maybe understanding that. But South Carolina has
he had some very good games, but it was always untimely interceptions.
He also didn't have a moment. The moment, the closest thing to a moment is the Mississippi game, right? Where they rallied. You were there for that.
The closest thing to a moment is 510 yards against Clemson in a loss.
But a
21
point loss.
Yeah.
Chuck might be onto something there. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day, maybe in the off season. But yeah, it's there's a lot there. Billy, get better, man. Hang in there. There's a couple people trying to pull for you there, offering some Snickers. Travis says, get him a Snickers. A couple people offering hugs. Life's tough. Life is tough. 803-404-6100. How you can join us. Patrick, going back to some of the things we've discussed throughout the show, the LSU and the Florida coaching situations are so wildly intriguing right now when it comes down to what you see those programs doing. LSU, we talked a little bit about this in our number one. They win a championship, and then 2 years, less than 2 years, 17 games, almost a year and a half later, they're going to make a coaching change. Now, you and I both agree. I look at the direction of that program, and I think they're being proactive. I think they're being proactive. There is, as you said on the live stream, we aren't the ones making up rumors and putting stuff out there. There is stuff in legitimate, credible publications. I think you mentioned The Athletic.
Yeah, it's in The Athletic.
that Ed Orgeron in Baton Rouge was doing some
Inappropriate things.
wild things, quite frankly. Like, and let's take the just inappropriate out of it. His focus was not on coaching that football team anymore, and that this decision isn't entirely based on, well, he's 9-8 over the last 17 games. The program itself, they have John Emery. I don't know how in the 21st century, in 2021, a player signs up for the wrong classes.
Because his academic advisor told him the wrong class to sign up for. There's no shot that's true. No one believes that. No LSU fan believes that.
Like there's just absolutely no way that happens in this day and age with coaches and with everybody that stays on top of it. John Emery was supposed to be, he was a 5-star back out of
New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, out of New Orleans, chooses he was supposed to be the answer to all their running back issues. Goes in and again, if you haven't seen that story, that was at the very beginning, was ineligible for this year because the story is his academic advisor had him sign up for the wrong classes, making him ineligible for the season.
Yeah, for the whole season.
Like, you've got that going on. Not that I necessarily blame not that I blame Ed Orgeron, because Eric Gilbert's doing it at a second program now, but it's taking those kind of kids that cause problem. Eric Gilbert just seems like a head case, but you brought him down there last year. There have been injuries. It's just a wild situation that doesn't necessarily even involve all the stuff going on off the field. It just seems like Ed Orgeron has allowed that program to kind of run itself now since winning the national championship.
Yeah, I don't know if he fully just mailed it in because he was focused on things off the field, or if he just thought that, hey, this worked out pretty well when I had Dave Aranda and Joe Brady running my football team, and I didn't have to do anything except talk in a cool voice and motivate people before they ran out on the field. Like, Joe Brady fully handled the offense, and Dave Aranda was one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. There's a reason he got hired to be the head coach of Baylor. So I think he just got used to that cushy deal of having two spectacular coordinators, not having to do anything, and just show up every day and be you. Just be goofy old Ed.
It didn't help that last year, and this was an actual statement. Again, if you want just confirmation that Ed Orgeron seemed to just be serving as acting head coach and doing nothing else. He mentioned last year he hired both coordinators without interviewing them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bo Pelini had a track record. In his defense, Bo Pelini, I still think you interview him you always interview somebody to get a feel, and you find out, hey, if this is going to fit. But he openly admitted, he said that going in. I think he said it at SEC Media Day this year when talking about his new coordinators. Yeah, I did things differently. I interviewed them this year. And you went, oh, he interviewed them. Well, that is quite the adjustment from what you did last year. You got that situation. And then you look down in Gainesville, and we talked about it with Brad Crawford in hour number one. If you missed it, you can go check out the podcast page again, 1075thegame.com, and you can hear that interview. Patrick, I feel like Dan Mullen is heading for the same fate. Not this year. Dan Mullen will be there next year. Dan Mullen may be there through 2023, but you feel like the writing is already on the wall. Florida fans are not happy with Dan Mullen. The loss to Kentucky this year. Now you go and lose to an undermanned LSU team. They're not happy with him.
No. I don't know how this is I really don't know how this is gonna end. It's gonna end with Todd Grantham losing his job for sure. Like, Dan Mullen does have that one sacrificial lamb to throw out there and say, this was the reason that we weren't getting it done. The defense was terrible. I should have fired him the year before. Every Florida fan knows that. Brad said the same thing. So I would assume that he'll just go into next year with a new defensive coordinator, and that will be more of the prove it year. I don't know. Are they happy with him off the field? I haven't really heard too much other than him just being a weird guy and the really bizarre Missouri Darth Vader fight wearing the Darth Vader costume after the game. You know, remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where he
yes.
like encouraged his team to go out there and brawl with Missouri, and then goes in the press conference as Darth Vader. That was really bizarre. But I don't know that there's been any other drama off the field with him, has there? Like high profile drama,
Well,
other than just being a weird dude.
he mentioned last year and it was just ill timing because I don't know, maybe I was giving him a pass or maybe I'm just numb to these kind of things when they lost at Texas A&M. Remember that was another strange loss
Mhm.
last year that he had. That's what Dan Mullen's good for. He'll win a game or two that you're kind of catches you by surprise, or he'll have his team play ultra competitive with Alabama and lose by 2.
Yeah.
But he'll throw in a loss or two during the season that you really never saw coming. And one of those things was last year at Texas A&M. And remember, it wasn't his team's fault. It was that Texas A&M may have broke their restrictions on having too many fans in the stadium and that they had an actual home field environment. And the following week, he wanted Florida to do the same thing and give him a home field environment.
Yeah, people did not receive that well. We need to pack the swamp.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was
But,
what
I mean, hey, would anybody be? I think it was. We talked about the SEC short. I think it did mention that in the SEC short that Florida. This would be totally up. Like this would be exactly a Georgia thing to do and a Florida thing to do is for Florida to beat Georgia
Yeah.
this year in the cocktail party.
that would be a Dan Mullen thing to come out of nowhere and run for 400 yards. Georgia all of a sudden couldn't stop him.
And it would be a Kirby Smart thing to do.
It would
too,
be
is lose
too.
that game.
It would be too. 803-404-6100. Let's get back out to the Love Chevrolet phone lines. Gail is up next. Gail, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Great. I was just curious how many of you thought that Carolina would have won the game had Vanderbilt had their regular quarterback in instead of the second string.
I think that the second string quarterback helped Vanderbilt tremendously because he was a dual threat quarterback. Patrick, I think that actually sparked Vanderbilt. Let's also remember, and Heath brought this up yesterday, so I don't want to take full credit for this. Vanderbilt's 2 touchdowns came almost strictly because of either dumb plays for South Carolina,
Yeah.
or
It was field position, the fumble.
Yep.
Was the first one.
11-yard touchdown that Vanderbilt gets out of it.
Darius Rush just going right at the shoulder to head area, and all the receiver had to do was duck down on an easy comeback route, and it was just the way no one ever would teach you to tackle.
Yeah, it doesn't make an excuse for South Carolina giving up 2 touchdowns. We're not trying to do that, but let's all. It's not exactly like the backup quarterback for Vanderbilt was leading them up and down the field against South Carolina. Again, you get an 11-yard touchdown, and then you get one that was just a point blank bad play, an awful play by Darius Rush, who's made some good things happen this year. Don't let that one play bring down what's actually been a pretty good season for him to date. But it was a very bad play that ended up giving up a touchdown, and that made a big difference in the game. Again, I think South Carolina, give kudos to Vanderbilt for keeping this Ken Seals injury under wraps. Although I guess when you're Vanderbilt and you don't have an obnoxious media videoing your practices or using binoculars from a public building, nobody's going to notice that Mike Wright is taking all the snaps and Ken Seals, the quarterback, is out. Mike Wright, definitely much more of a dual threat quarterback. Ken Seals has 35 carries on the year for -7 yards. Mike Wright, 36 carries for 139 yards. I think Mike Wright actually gave Vanderbilt a shot of enthusiasm and maybe a little bit extra chance to win. Not that made it okay for the score to be what it was.
No, but I mean, it is possible that Ken Seals would have diced up the secondary a little bit more because that was the one that is the one area that's just not good right now for South Carolina's defense. Just secondary's not getting there. Maybe Enagbare would have gotten home a couple more times, or Strawn would have gotten home a couple times with a less mobile quarterback, but I would probably say it's a wash. I don't think it would have impacted things majorly either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you for the phone call, Gail. Hope you're doing well this morning. 803-404-6100. We'll come back and wrap up what's been an entertaining program here on a Tuesday morning. Hope you're doing well out there. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Oh, yeah, it's that time of the year for kind of fall parties, sitting out back, enjoying the fire pit, maybe planning a Thanksgiving where you deep fry a turkey around the pool. Problem is if your pool is green and murky, if there's mosquitoes in it, it can be pretty miserable. Yeah, you might not be jumping in your pool this time of the year, but you're probably still using it, maybe for a little ambiance in the backyard, sitting out back in an evening and enjoying the cooler weather while you sit with your significant other, or you just relax and again, enjoy the ambiance that it is having a personal pool in your backyard. You still want that thing clean. That's why you need to be in touch with Corley Pool Solutions. Complete pool care and maintenance provided by Tracy Corley and his team. They've been around for 20 plus years. So you know when he comes to your house, analyzes the situation, you're getting an expert to tell you how to get that pool cleaned. And not only does he tell you how to do it, he then does it himself. 803-445-8109. I know it's October. I know the weather is getting chillier and you're not doing canning balls or diving into the pool or what is it, jackknives? I don't what all you people do when you jump into the pool? What all kind of other funky jumps do you? I don't do that at my age anymore. I just step into the pool. But you might not be using it to get in, but you're still using it probably for ambiance. I know a lot of you out there, you probably have a fire pit out back. You get that propane going or you get the wood going and you sit around and you enjoy a nice evening. Again, it's not quite as nice if mosquitoes are coming out of the pool, if it's murky or green. Allow Corley Pool Solutions to take care of you and your pool. 803-445-8109. Give them a call today. Flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Find out for yourself why they're the best in the business. That's Corley Pool Solutions. We are good.
We can't be heard.
Can you hear me?
Your mic's not on.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't hear you.
Oh, there you go.
So we're good. It looks like it's off with the sun here.
Yep. All right, everybody. Wait, just cracked my hand. That felt good. Thank you, Brad. But yes, it's
Did you see what Brett Bielema said yesterday? Basically just ripped on the last coaching staff. I don't believe we have a player in the two deep that they've recruited over the last 3 years here that's significantly doing anything for us in the playing department. Can you imagine if Beamer said that? Yeah, honestly, Muschamp hasn't recruited a single player that's actually able to contribute for us significantly.
Yeah, I think if you can pull Billy's sad phone call and just say sad Carolina fan weighs in or something like that. And once you use that, that'll give you 4, and I think you've gone above and beyond.
I just pulled Patrick's Orgeron.
The Orgeron from earlier. We need to get this on Apple and Spotify. What do they wait? What do they? Why is this so hard to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do. I remember having to do it for an old podcast I had, and what you just do is you gotta submit something to Apple, and it's really not all that hard. You're right, and I'll get it done, but it's gonna take me.
I have a really snarky thing that could risk my job as to what their priorities are right now, so I'll just stop there.
How do I?
What I need to do also, and I don't know exactly how to do it, is if I can go into StreamYard and cut clips, like edit and cut specific clips up.
Yeah,
and then put it
we
back
should
on.
be able to.
And then put that back out, just particular clips. There's small little things like that. Oh, Mark O'Hara's. Yeah, if I wasn't going to the fair, I'd go join you.
Yeah, good call.
No.
Yeah, I can't.
Nah.
All I see is Chuck saying good call and Troy weighing in.
Yeah.
You guys don't need to be rid of me. Be rid of me yet.
We got to decide what time we're going to go to fair. The Heat are the biggest threat. That's right. Now that we got Kyle Lowry, we kept Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson.
The Wizards have Spencer Dinwiddie now.
We got shooters. Got Bam. Was glad we got rid of Dragic.
Hey, you want to come? Oh, that doesn't matter.
Bless you, Troy. And yes, O'Hara's is a great place. They're friends of mine.
Hey,
Boy. All right.
Let's head back in.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by and shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Download the TuneIn app so you can take 1075 The Game with you wherever you go. And now, back to the early game on 1075 The Game.
Hey, you look like you work out. You want to work out with me?
I feel like we play that game, Ed Orgeron or Patrick Perrette. Because I guarantee you, at first, I was like, oh, Jen got some Ed Orgeron. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think we did that earlier in the show. What's that? Can we get that again? That's a hotkey, right?
It will be shortly. Hold on.
Hey, you look like you work out. You want to work out with me?
Earlier in the program, if you missed it, that was Patrick Perrette doing his best Ed Orgeron impersonation. Travis on the live stream says you nailed it, Patrick. Mark says that was great. Certainly very good today from Patrick Perrette there as we discussed the Ed Orgeron situation at LSU. If anything you missed, you can go back. We have certain segments on the podcast page. You can go to the 1075thegame.com website. You can check out the podcast page. If you missed anything in the show, you can go to the YouTube page, 1075 The Game, and you can check out the live stream where off air we have discussed a whole bunch of fair food. We have discussed Patrick's upcoming vacation. We have kept people updated on what's going on with the live stream as well. And again, a lot going on. We'll get a few other guests coming in as well as we continue to upgrade that thing and get that going. Let me tell you real quick, Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming back to Columbia Wednesday, December 8th, Colonial Life Arena. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Tickets are on sale now. You can go purchase them. Again, the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. That's Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Wednesday, December 8th at Colonial Life Arena. You listened to Trans-Siberian Orchestra this past weekend, yes?
Yeah, now that it's cold, I'm going to listen to a lot
now
of
that it's
Christmas
cold,
music.
that's okay. All right.
It feels like wintertime now.
The other thing we've learned today is that Patrick is full-fledged Southerner.
I don't do well with the cold.
Jen is wearing short. Of course, the producing room is warm. She actually has a fan going in there. The producing room is exceptionally warm. I've noticed that when I walked in there.
Because you figure all the equipment or a lot of the equipment's in here, and then it's a small room and whatever. So you guys, it's cold, and we only have one HVAC unit that we're sharing. So
true. Jen also doesn't like it because I cut the heat on in here because it's freezing in the actual studio.
And I get it. So that's the reason I have a fan, and that's the reason I don't dress for winter. It'll be December and January, and I'm in like flip-flops.
But I feel like, well, Jen is originally from the Midwest, but I'm from the South, and I feel like I've handled this far better than Patrick has handled it.
I would agree.
The last few days, colder weather is coming. Maybe it'll be here this weekend. Fair tonight for me. Braves baseball, 5 o'clock today. Patrick, you won't get involved, though. But if Braves win up 3-0, I feel like we're trending to that Braves-Red Sox series. And if that's the case, we all storm Village Idiot and turn it into a Braves
2-0 is
haven.
interesting because if they win and go up 3-0, they're going to feel invincible. But if you go 2-1, possibility of tying it in LA, you're not going to feel great.
Braves,
you can't let the Dodgers have an opening. Can't let them breathe.
No.
They're too good.
You're right. You're right. You can't let them get back into that rotation a little bit. Walker Buehler on the mound tonight this afternoon. Charlie Morton back on the mound for the Braves. 5:08. That game will be on TBS for you to check out. 5:08 this afternoon. Look forward to that. I've enjoyed it. Again, check out the podcast page. Thanks to Brad Crawford, to Perry Orth. We'll do it all again tomorrow. You've been listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
So, this is totally different now. But we've got it kind of figured out. And do it.
All right, good day.
Good.
Thank you, everybody who is just stuck with us and continues to weigh in. I appreciate it. With the numbers, we're back up a little bit more this morning, and we'll get some more guests tomorrow, and we'll continue rolling along. I appreciate all of y'all hanging in here and joining us each and every morning. I don't know if you understand how much that means to us. So we'll do it again tomorrow.